Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Hey, we're live on YouTube. They can see our faces. It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
How the magic of technology works.
It's unbelievable.
It always works.
Man.
Now it does.
Yeah, I didn't like that you said that.
Well, no,
I feel like you just jinxed us.
It does always work.
That really upset me that you said that just now. I've tried really hard to make it all work. Funny enough, I loaded OBS and it was like, we don't have image files for Yarder, Viber, and Driver, which are images that we use for Fun Friday. I'm like, well, where'd they go?
Yeah.
So now I got to find those.
Oh,
but
I didn't know that.
you didn't know that we use those images on Fun Friday?
I don't know what
it's
those,
almost like you don't.
I don't know what those words mean, really.
Watch Fun Friday.
Yeah.
I should.
And one more for good measure.
Another one. Morning. Welcome to Don't Be the Artist. I'm Hagen.
I'm Dave.
I'm Adam.
And we're joined by a very special guest.
Special to me.
Special to us, too.
Special to us. Yeah, special to us.
I'm Blake.
Hi, Blake. Welcome, Blake. How you doing, Blake?
I'm good. I'm
Yeah?
excited.
We're excited to have you. And we're excited to dive in pretty soon for everything. But first, I have a story to tell.
Uh-oh.
I have a St. Patrick's Day story to tell.
Let us know.
Let you know when I'm ready to tell
Tell
the
us
story.
about your
or-
lucky charms.
Oh, I'm not going to tell you about my lucky charms.
Oh.
I will tell you.
Different kind of story.
Our armpits are
Holy
sweaty.
fuck-
Turn the fan on.
Dude,
Dude, we messed up. I messed up.
it's fine in here.
It's not fine in here.
You are.
Dave needs the lights dim and the
And
fan
the fan on.
Can I tell a story
Now you can.
now? I have your permission.
Yeah.
So, our good friend Keely, she is celebrating being unemployed. We were gonna go celebrate that Friday night, and then we decided no. So she decided let's go to the St. Patrick's Day parade and then the block party in Dallas. Like, cool, yeah, that sounds like a ton of fun. Well, it's raining. So we're like, cool, we'll make the best out of this. So we meet them at the block party, and we just sit there. My wife and I, Kara, just sit there for maybe 20 minutes before they get there, just sitting in rain. Now, before that, really let that sink in how much that sucks. To get into the block party, it's $20 cash only.
To stand
That's
in
stupid.
the rain.
Didn't know that. All of the fucking there's a bunch of bars, right? But all of the the bars have little things out front, like tables and shit selling beer. They're also cash only, except for 2 of them. And all the ATMs are out of cash, or they are there was a guy who was taking a small tool poking at it to get a guy's other card out. So it was maximum shit show as far as that goes.
Are you sure you didn't time travel when you went down there for this?
Dude,
Somehow?
I
'Cause
have no idea.
This sounds like the early 2000s.
To be fair, my mom did drop me off. So that does,
Early 2000s.
Yeah,
Mom, can you drop me off at the block party?
I didn't want to deal with fucking parking. I was
Yeah, I
like,
think
hey,
that's fair.
okay, I'm just gonna park at your house. Can you? Anyway, so we can't get anything because we don't have cash because the ATMs don't work. So we eventually find a place that accepts card. As we're in line, the place that accepts card, it starts torrential fucking downpour, and we get these pretzel dogs that are by the time we eat them just soaked.
Soaked wieners.
I had to hold a friend's White Claw while she just shoved mustard inside of a wet pretzel dog.
That is the best sentence I've heard all day. Maybe all week.
I
We'll
was
see.
holding the White Claw, just covering the top of it, to not let the water in, and I'm getting soaked. Look, I turned back to fucking Jackson and Keely, and they're just dying laughing the whole time, and I'm like, this fucking sucks.
Hey, can you hold my White Claw while I jam mustard in my wiener? Fuck yeah.
And then we went and danced for a little bit in the rain because there was DJs on both sides, so it was we were dancing to some hits.
Did the DJs have covered stages?
Yeah. There's no way it covered everything, but yeah.
No, there's not.
And then we were dancing for a little bit, and then lightning hit, and Jackson was like, "Let's go! Let's leave now!" So then we get back to their place, and we throw all of our clothes in the dryer.
And so it's a naked
Well,
party.
I didn't throw my clothes in the dryer. I threw my jacket in the dryer. 'Cause
Yeah.
Jackson and Keely have nothing that'll fit me.
Oh,
And then, and then we,
that adds up.
and then we chill for a little bit. It's really nice. We ordered some pizza, and then 6:30 rolls around. We're like, let's go back out.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And then we went back out. We were like, it's fucking raining still. Why the fuck did we go back out in this shit? This is so fucking
Never
stupid.
mind.
This is so fucking stupid. So eventually we found a place we could hang. It was actually truly an awesome day. But it was Adam, I was saying, it was good you ended up maybe deciding not to join us that day, as it was just a fucking shit show.
There were multiple reasons, and the rain was a big one. As soon as my wife was like, "Oh, I don't want to go have stuff to do," I was like, "Yeah, it's pouring fucking rain, so I'm good."
Should have been the main one. Yeah. Fucking.
So I was like, also, we're not gonna be able to park anywhere near there. We're going to have to walk really far
in the rain.
To get there.
It's fucking great.
I played a gig
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
in the rain.
In the rain.
It shouldn't have happened. The band that was playing after us, the headliners, like this bigger country artist, they reserved the entire back area of the stage at this festival for the St. Patrick's Day Pickle Parade. And
so it is a St. Patrick. I thought you were telling me it's just a pickle parade.
that's what they advertised.
And I was like, why the fuck would you have a pickle parade?
Yeah.
And not like a St. Patrick's? I didn't.
I know.
Well, they're
It's
both-
weird.
I
Both
also
green.
don't like pickles. So
That's okay, sure. Not a lot of pickles there. Didn't
What?
see
Yeah,
any pickles.
What about like rain-soaked pickles?
I'm sure there were lots of people in pickle costumes.
pickles are already kind of moist.
Are pickles moist?
Rainwater?
I don't know, man.
Are
I keep
pickles
that
moist?
see that pickle in like a
I mean, they're
pickle
in
like
water,
a fucking like
so
7-Eleven, and
They're,
those
they're
are
like
you know-
waterlogged.
Yeah.
So anyway, the headliners set up. The headliners set up before us. They had sound check from 11 to 1,
And that made
and
sense.
we were supposed to play from 1:30 to 3. It starts raining like crazy. I was like, I'm not taking any of my gear out of my car at all because the stage is getting soaked. It was covered, but it was getting soaked. It comes time for they're done sound check. The guy that hired us was like, and the sound guy, they're like, "Hey, do you guys want to try to set up?" And we are like, we can't. Like,
Yeah.
there's nowhere for us to stand because the stage is soaked. We're gonna ruin our gear. I was like, I'm not putting my amp on that stage. I'll take my bass up. And the sound guy was like, "That's okay. You can plug in direct." And I was like, "Okay." So our drummer had a snare drum and a ride. I had my bass direct in, no tuner. I didn't even tune my bass. I was like, it's a bass. It's going to be in tune. We had an acoustic guitar. Our singer had an acoustic guitar, and he had his DI pedal, and he had an umbrella parked in front of it.
Okay.
And the guitar player played electric guitar and had an umbrella in front of his pedal board.
Okay.
And we played our set. And it was the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I am literally the kick drum. And it was kind of fun because people were just having fun in the audience. They were like excited that we were going to do it anyway. So they were dancing and getting soaked and just like having a good time.
There was something about like the St. Patrick's Day with all the people that was like, man, there's just like people are willing to like sit in the shit for this. You know, I don't know what it is, but you know, it's really perfect that you hear on this episode, Blake, is the return of Podcast Moth has come. There is a Podcast Moth in the room.
I've spotted. So.
Yeah. I've tried to kill it.
Every time.
It doesn't.
It comes back. It comes back. Whether or not you kill it or not.
I've never touched it.
It'll return.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And then I stopped. I was like, all right, it's Podcast Moth.
It's Podcast Moth. It's just a part of the experience.
Forget when the last time it was here. The first episode after Jackson left. I think
It was the
his
spirit
fault.
of Jackson.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah. Well, no more St. Patrick's Day because it's time. It's time for us to do perhaps the biggest of dives we've done, or not, in a long time. I'd say the biggest simply because of the material. But this is why Blake is here today, because we are doing a Wilco deep dive, mostly with the assistance of Blake here, who is a Wilco expert.
We'll call it that.
Okay, well that's my first thing. I want to go into. We usually start these with like, what's your background with said artist? So what's your background with Wilco? Like, when did you start listening to them? Is it everything? Give us the whole spiel.
It's pretty easy to pinpoint.
Okay.
Buddy of mine says, "I got 2 tickets to a Wilco show. What are you doing?" Okay.
And you were like, who's Wilco?
Heard Wilco, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, whatever.
Sure.
I'm a white guy in my 30s. It's in the atmosphere.
Okay.
So we go. It's the Ode to Joy Tour 2019.
Okay.
It's incredible. Best thing I've seen probably
Wow.
still to date.
So 2019 was like your entry point.
That's the intro, and it's pretty much all I've listened to since.
Wow.
That's so crazy.
So 13 to 16 albums, depending on the account.
Yeah.
Wow.
Plus, they record all their live sets. and
Everything,
Release them.
Yeah.
So
How long have they been doing that? Do you know?
since 2004.
That's a long time.
So
Are you fixing the gate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that, man. outing me. I'm
Yeah.
working on something. Just keep talking. Just do the podcast thing and keep
can't do
talking
it.
while I produce.
My God.
We rely on you to do the talking a lot.
God, man. Just give
me a
fucking second.
So
So sorry. They do live albums like in general, or
It's
just
called,
they
it's called
release?
road cases.
Okay, so they release every like live
Find
show.
them online.
Okay.
They'll do 10 shows a tour.
they were early on, like kind of like the streaming stuff too, right?
Absolutely.
That's so cool. I didn't know that. Everyone credits Radiohead mostly.
Predated Radiohead by, I think, 5 or 6 years.
That's so
must
crazy.
have, yeah.
Yeah, and the live show thing sounds like it predates Fish too, who does a similar kind of thing of taking their recording out of the board and uploading it after their shows. So
Yeah, but that sucks.
it does suck. But that is a cool idea if you're into the band.
Yeah, of course. Sorry. Sorry.
I'm not into it.
Dawes does
But-
it too.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea, and a lot of bands have started doing that, so it's
Yeah.
like neat. But it sounds like they didn't create that, and Wilco maybe started that.
Do they
Hard to say.
change up their live shows all the time?
Constantly.
Like even the sorry,
So-
I know
ton of
they're changing up the.
improvisation.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
So set lists is determined day
By the
of.
audience
The audience picks a lot of it.
through their website, right?
Yep.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I do remember knowing about that, and that seems like a really cool idea. Like
Yeah.
a better version of Jack White's like pretentious. I'm going to pick the song.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether
yeah,
my
yeah.
band knows them or not.
No, they know them. They know all 160 songs or whatever it is.
So what was the what was the thing about the live show that like drew you in to just becoming now like listening to all their material? Like
Again, super specific moment.
okay.
We'll hopefully play it in
Okay.
a bit. There's a tune called Via Chicago
Okay.
that
Did they do it like the version you put?
famously just goes completely off the rails.
Okay.
So
And that's what it
and
was.
it hooked me instantly. Like,
Okay.
What just happened?
Can we? Yeah, let's pull that up. That was in my playlist.
You want to do that right now?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay,
But just to talk about it, while you're pulling it up, it goes off the rails. But Jeff Tweedy, and I'm assuming he's playing acoustic.
Yep, Jeff
He
Tweedy.
stays the course.
John Sturrett, the bass player.
Yeah.
Singing harmonies.
They stay the course.
They're just
And
on
it's
it.
unbelievable. But the drummer. So there's 6 people in the band,
Yeah.
right? Can you name all 6?
Yeah.
So I know Jeff Tweedy, Niels Klein.
Yeah, Nels Klein. We got John Sturrett's been the bass player the entire time.
The only other
The only other
constant
consistent original
member.
member.
Wow.
We got Glenn Cochie on drums, Michael Jorgensen on keyboards, and Pat Sansone plays everything. If there's a weird sound that's not Nels Klein, it's probably Pat.
Wow. When I first read his name, I read it as Sans One.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought is it Pat Sansone or Pat Sansoni, not Pat Sansone.
Pat Sansoni.
Yeah, you know.
It's a band of confusing last names.
Yeah, same name with Glenn. I was like, is it Glenn Kochie or Glenn Koch?
Cochie.
Kochie, yeah.
Kalachi.
Are we in Coach or Kochie?
Sturrett.
Jeez. Okay, Via Chicago. Is there a specific point or just like?
Let's listen through the first breakdown if we can.
Yeah. Hold on. Yes, we can. Give me a sec. I have to change this every time.
Oh no. They've had many lineup changes. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that.
I have lots of notes.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Oh, this isn't the live version. Is it the same in the recorded version?
It is not.
Do you want the live version?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we could do the,
I guess it's got to be the one that was on your.
Yeah, on my
live
list.
version from Kicking Television.
There it is. I was like, man, this sounds way different in headphones.
So did all 3 playlists have a live song?
I think so.
I know mine did.
I tried
Yeah.
to get
Mine did.
something from every release
In order.
in order.
I definitely was listening to it, and I'm like, these sound like they're improving in production quality. I bet these are in order.
And they're from Chicago, right? Or at least Jeff Tweedy.
Jeff Tweedy
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
from Belleville, Illinois.
Oh, okay.
We did miss one of the greatest opening lyrics in rock and roll.
What is
Which is,
what is it?
dreamed about killing you again last night, and it felt all right to me.
Killing you again last night, and it felt alright to me.
Yeah, that's great.
Dying on the banks of Embarcadero skies, sat and watched you bleed. I buried you alive in a fireworks display.
So really mellow.
Super mellow, yeah.
Yep.
Super mellow.
Your cold-eyed blood ran away from me to the sea.
That snare work.
Well, and we'll talk about it, but this live album was the first album that had Glenn and
This is the
who else?
first
It's the first like actual release that had,
of the current
currents.
lineup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Since 2004. Like they've been the same lineup since 2004,
Yep.
right? I think.
Yeah, but it took a little bit to get.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, here we
10
go.
years. We got a little bit.
Another
The next-
verse.
The next verse.
Oh shit.
So we'll chat through it.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was the live song and mine was an interesting, like kind of like halfway point.
I think you got Spiders, Kid Smoke, which is
Might be. I don't remember the name. I'm bad at names. I'm bad at names.
very krautrock noise.
Yeah,
jam.
it was immediately I was like listening, I'm like, this is great. I was like, I don't usually tend to like live recordings of stuff that I'm not really familiar with, but it just worked.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if there's something like about that with their recordings that are the live albums that are like that, but
I think they're just loose.
yeah.
They just let things happen. So we get this instrumental break, and then we have the moment.
We have liftoff.
I know I'll make it back one of these days and turn on your TV.
Yeah.
To watch a man with a face like mine being chased down a busy street. When he gets
That's
caught,
great.
And at that point, I said, "What just happened? It changed my life."
That's great. I think that's one of those things where, like, you know, we were making jokes beforehand, and I'm sure we'll make plenty of jokes during, but like, you know, it's very white guy to like Wilco, and a lot of white guys I know who like Wilco, I think would hate that, but like but in the context of Wilco, I think they love it for some reason. I don't know what it
Because
is.
Wilco's doing it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. So let's take a couple steps backwards. We should say that Blake gave each one of us a Wilco playlist to listen to. Because
Which I think we'll link
yeah.
for people to check out.
Yes. But this was because there are how many things to listen to, like you said, 13 or 16?
Between 13 and 16
Yeah.
albums, if you count some weird ones in there.
Yeah. So that's too much. We're not going to listen to that. I'm
No.
sorry. It's not going to happen.
We have jobs and lives.
It's just that it would take so long. I'm not gonna remember all that shit, and I gotta talk about it. So, yeah. So Blake made each one of us a playlist. What was your thought process behind each playlist? What was the thing that was like?
So I asked you directly.
Yeah.
I had some ideas. Like, okay, do you want cool drum stuff or do you want bangers? As much as Wilco has.
Yeah.
Bangers. So that's your list. What are the Wilco bangers?
Love it.
Dave got cool, interesting bass parts.
Mm-hmm.
Adam got weird stuff because I don't really know any of it.
That's a perfect fit, though. That's a perfect fit.
He is like the wild card.
There were
I never thought I'd hear that about Adam.
Yeah.
there were lots of songs on here where I'm like, oh, this is great. This is my kind of shit. Like, this is perfect.
Yeah. And so
Like
because
you've been looking at my like play history on Last FM or something, and you're like, oh.
so because of
Just
that,
plug it in.
we have like a like kind of a you know, we're at least as far as I'm considered, the way I did this was I kind of wrote notes about each song and then like about each time period, like album-ish thing from what I read. So if I say something that's wrong, luckily Blake's here to correct me. So because I didn't listen to fucking everything, so that's kind of the thing. But I think it would be good for us to also start from the before Wilco times. The Uncle Tupelo? Was that
Uncle Tupelo.
Tupelo. Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
I would actually like to take a step back.
Okay,
'cause
take
I
another
have
step
something,
back. Yeah,
something
yeah.
to discuss
Okay, go
before
ahead.
we get to that point.
Okay, go ahead.
Dave is turning 35.
That's right.
So
Dave is turning
You are
35.
required to listen to Wilco.
Yeah.
this is the turning point.
Yes.
So what I've done is I have assembled from my family to you Dave's Wilco starter pack for your 35th birthday. So we're gonna do some unpacking.
Incredible.
here.
Do you want to do it or should I do it?
I'm gonna let
You're doing it.
unpack it. So we're gonna start.
Any specific order? Or do I just go
No,
for it?
We'll discuss as it comes
Oh
up.
my god. Margo Electronics, Benny DLX.
Yeah, this is the Benny Deluxe.
What the?
Open from the front
Look at
there.
this box. This is Blake's
Burgeoning pedal
pedal company.
Yeah, you said it's not a company. You have fancy packaging. You're a company.
Oh my god. Okay, it says this is it's based on an Ampeg SVT preamp. Controls are pretty straightforward. The gain and volume work together to drive the front end, and the boost can help push the amp. EQ is additive. More lows will help retain the natural sound of the bass. Adam, do you know what all this means?
I know some of it.
I'm really looking for someone to mansplain EQ to Dave right now.
I didn't get that far.
It can cover anything from edgy cleans to full-on distortion. Enjoy it. Dude, and a sticker. Okay. Wow. That is so cool.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
That is so
Oh
crazy.
my
that's the least
God.
Wilco related.
Yeah. The Benny Deluxe version.
So a little less farty than the regular.
The regular one's not farty. It's just extreme. I don't know how to tame it. This is so cool. We'll talk about this later.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. The Benny Deluxe. Okay, and now we'll go to
Yeah. So
This?
this was a custom made.
custom made. Dude, I have to wear this if I go to a Wilco show.
Make sure
Absolutely.
the camera can see
For,
that. Really give that one. That's
For
so
audio
good.
listeners, it's a Wilco shirt that's custom made and has a giant flag of Canada.
That is
for,
amazing.
For all their Texas states, Wilco has a shirt that says Wilco with a Texas flag in the middle.
Yeah.
So
So I'll wear this one. That's amazing.
no-
That's
one else
so
will have
good.
that.
Oh my fucking god.
You're gonna wear that to a Wilco show, and people are gonna be like, "Where can I get
Where's
that?
that?
yeah.
Where is this one?"
This is so cool.
Listen to Don't Feed the Artist,
We'll-
jackass.
We'll scrub this so I don't get sued.
Jeff Tweedy's not watching this. And what do we got here? Oh, how to write one song. Yeah, I was going to talk about this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Essential for the
That is
for your
so
journey
cool.
moving forward.
That's amazing. Oh, there's more.
You didn't have to learn
There's
how to
more.
read,
There's
though.
more. There should be.
Yeah.
I think there's stickers in the book.
I don't learn how to read until 36.
Yeah,
where you
he's
start.
on
Are
track.
you a Pokemon? Is that how you evolve?
Yeah.
At like level 36, you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
can read now.
Dinosaur.
Davasaur.
That's
And then at
amazing.
48, he learned
This
something
is
else.
so cool. 48.
That's
How
like
to-
that's pretty good to like Pokemon leveling of
yeah,
evolution.
it's pretty close to that.
Yeah.
Let's go so we can get back. His memoir. I was
His
reading about this
first
too, that
book?
it's pretty, he's pretty candid in it.
Absolutely.
He seems like he's candid in a lot of shit he says. Like in a lot of interviews, I was like, oh my god,
He doesn't really pull any punches.
that's great.
I feel like that's having
amazing.
not listened to their music a lot beforehand, but it seems like that's a lot of why people like him and
Yeah.
his music is he's very much like I will talk about it, and it's not perfect, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
Oh, these are great. I love that sticker. That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Blake.
Fuck yeah.
What the
heck?
Blake comes on the show and brings Dave birthday presents.
That's
Happy
amazing.
birthday, Dave.
Holy
a couple
cow.
days early.
It's
but
my birthday
Yeah.
episode.
birthday episode. Amazing. Yeah, it's also the reason we're doing this is because Dave's turning 35 and we have to,
I'm 35. It's time I listen to Wilco.
Yeah,
it's time. Yeah.
you're maybe a couple years late, actually.
Well, I don't know.
We were told 35.
We were told 35
Okay.
is the time
and
to shine.
I can't keep getting these changes. People keep telling me at 30 my back's gonna hurt, then 33, then 36. Fuck off. My back already hurts.
I'm putting
It's
it
been
on now.
hurting.
So your back started hurting at like 25.
My back and knees have been fucked since I was in high school. I was walking onto a basketball court with wrap like a fucking mummy. Like I'm good. Like everything's already hurting. I don't need this 30 shit. But Wilco, on the other hand,
So you can start whenever. 35 is when you go, oh, I get it.
yeah, okay, right, yeah,
Yeah.
When it
Yeah.
clicks. Yeah.
That's a good looking shirt.
Look at that.
That's a good looking shirt right there.
You know, a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have been able to wear this on the show.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah,
You
yeah.
you came out as Canadian.
That feels insensitive, but
Yeah, that feels like something we shouldn't say, but it is
You
funny.
can give me a cancel block, but I think it's fine.
We haven't
Get
done
the-
those in a
you
while.
can Get the cancel
but-
block out, and you can give me one. That's whatever.
yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, so
So Uncle Tupelo.
Uncle Tupelo.
So this is the start of what I like to call Jeff wants to fight someone named Jay.
Yeah, well, right. Okay, so but it is interesting to note that they were around from 87 to 94
and successful.
Yeah. Like doing really really well, but everything I read was like, wow, this is just drama after drama after drama after drama.
So two men who refuse to communicate with each other is the name of the story.
I love that.
We've got Jay Farrar famously wouldn't tell Jeff anything
Yeah.
in the book there. That's where most of that research comes from.
Okay. Gotcha.
So Jeff would write a song and Jay would say, that's a song.
But he would.
And then move on.
Okay.
So they record several albums, most important being No Depression in 1990.
Okay.
It's spun like a whole movement.
It is the defining album for what becomes alt country,
Right. Okay.
which is punk rock guys playing country music.
Which I have to sidebar for a second because Dave and I have been on this thing lately where I think most people would agree that there's a certain point where emo, hardcore, like metal musicians go country.
Or they go folk.
Or they go folk. Yeah. We were playing a gig and there's a drummer playing with like this like rockabilly country band and I was like, that guy's a hardcore drummer.
You're like that, and then like not 2 seconds later, you might like some really metal ass fill.
Yeah, I was like, I fucking knew it. Yeah, so this would be in a similar vein to that theory of like punk musicians going into this this like country world.
Sure.
Okay.
Everybody wants to make money.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I found this quote from Tweety. I don't know if it's from this book or not, but he's talking about he's basically talking about how he was starting to get like more confidence, and he said that around like the end of their time, he would like go up to the mic and he would say something, and afterward Jay would pull him aside and say, "Don't you ever fucking talk into the microphone again."
Yeah, 100%.
And the quote says he would misconstrue me talking to the microphone as more evidence of my out of control rampant ego, but it was more evidence of me feeling like I didn't have to be so fucking afraid anymore. So it's like I like this seems like the end of that band was like Jeff Tweedy being like I'm like more of a person. I'm more confident in myself.
Sure.
And then Jay being like fuck you.
Absolutely.
And like there was something about how when the band broke up, Jay wanted to like he told like the manager or something that he quit.
Right.
And then like the manager told Jeff, and Jeff was like, "Why didn't he tell me?"
Right.
And
no,
it's like
no communication.
high school drama.
Yeah.
Like
they met in high school.
Met in
right?
high school.
right.
And then it sounds like he never got past that.
It's wild. In the book, he talks about we met in high school. We both loved the Replacements. We would write songs together, and Jay would never give me any feedback.
That's so frustrating.
And that continued for years.
I don't know how you stay like that.
Not that I demand like compliments or anything like that, but over enough time, like when we finish a gig, every now and again, I'm just going to tell you sound great.
Yeah.
Just because it's nice to hear that from the people you play with a lot.
Yeah. I mean, but it's also like if you're writing material with someone, you're gonna want to be like you're gonna want someone to say like, "Hey, I like that. That was good."
Or like when you go like, "Hey, Dave, there's too many notes."
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or hey, can do the batu gatu guy.
Hey, can we get snare on all 4 beats, please? I have a new idea.
But then they break up, and is it everyone except for Jay, or almost everyone except for Jay that goes with him?
At that point, it's everybody but Jay.
Okay, that go to form Wilco.
Which kind of shows you something.
It's pretty telling.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
So at this point, you get No Depression in 1990, which spawns a periodical called No Depression. That becomes the text for alt country for the next 15 years.
Okay.
They are doing write-ups on Ryan Adams and the Cardinals, the Sunvolt stuff.
Okay.
That Jay Farrar does post Wilco.
Yep.
So, and really sets forth, here's this new genre of country music for people who don't like country music.
Right.
Alt country.
Alt country. Yeah. Okay. That's great. Okay. So if I'm moving too fast, stop me.
No,
But
you're good.
but next would be like that I have is the formation of Wilco shortly after, like a few months after, right? Box Full of Letters, or sorry, AM. That's my song, Box Full of Letters. AM comes out in 95. So like it's like such a small turnaround. Like they're like, let's go, let's get it done.
Jeff's writing songs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume based on the way these songs sounds and the way Uncle Tupelo sounds, he probably had these ready to go
Yeah.
out of the box. These were Uncle Tupelo songs that didn't get recorded.
Yeah. Which is kind of interesting because at least my song I think is great. I thought Box Full of Letters was awesome. I thought it was a great song.
Great too.
But here's my thing about this, and this will go. I think for at least for the a few of my songs here. But I you mentioned, Adam, the production getting better as we listen to these playlists. But I think that there's something about the production on these that I'm just like not getting 90s production vibes. Like it doesn't feel so 90s in my face.
And on the outset, it feels like Wilco.
Yeah.
And I think that, it takes them out of that time frame. You have written down, this is in 95 that it was released. So it's probably recorded in 94, 93.
Late 94. This comes out in March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
95.
Yeah.
So, and something to note, production-wise, Wilco is involved from the get-go.
Right.
In
Yeah,
doing
so-
their own production.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no weirdly high tuned snare drums or
No.
like really bad overdrive.
There's nothing of like the time.
Yeah.
Or if you listen to like 90s country, it didn't feel like it was too 90s country.
Right.
It didn't feel like it feels like very much its own thing, but it's not like it's not of the time. It's just
Yeah. Well-
Wilco.
When I say like it sounds like it got better. It sounds like they got to do what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah. No, and I agree the production got better.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just more of like
It's not that it like was modernized or anything.
Yeah.
It's not like they're doing like something that sounds like it will not age well.
yeah. It's just interesting to listen to, especially something that I think we're all familiar with, which is the sound of the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen to a song from the 90s and go, that don't sound like the song from the 90s.
Yeah.
Like you tell me that, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But it's not like that just right in your face 90s sound. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, at no point would I have thought that because the song you put on my playlist is "Pick Up the Change." At no point would have thought that this was from the '90s. I also didn't realize until like yesterday that you put them in kind of chronological order.
Yeah, I mean,
each
it
playlist.
should be.
So I was just like, oh yeah, this sounds great.
Yeah. So for at least for my song, I had like this vibe, and I think this is pretty much throughout a lot of like the first few songs, is that like these songs feel like they feel like they feel like they're inspired by like the 60s and 70s, but
Sure.
but like they feel older in a way, right? Like this, like the songwriting feels like, oh yeah, this is from somewhere else, and yet feels like this tight new approach to that idea. I think something I kept writing in my notes was like, it's impressive that a band can feel nostalgic while barely being I know they've been a band for a while, but like
Sure.
instantaneous grab of like, I know this, but I don't,
Yeah.
that kind of idea. I don't know how you guys felt with your songs, but it was like it was
great.
so much of that,
Yeah, throughout most of them for me.
Yeah.
The entire time for that early stuff, I was just like, yeah, this is Wilco. This is
Yeah.
what Wilco sounds like.
Yeah,
Should we play a little bit of one of them just so the listeners can?
sure. Blake, which one do you think we should play?
So it'll be interesting because we're going to talk about what we're listening to later.
Yeah.
And there's a new Kurt Vile record
Okay.
that has a cover of the song Passenger Side.
Okay.
So I think we could play Passenger Side.
Okay.
By all accounts, AM did not do well.
No.
Not a successful record.
Yeah.
The first Sunvolt record, Trace, outsold it, I think, 2-1.
And it like fucked with them too.
Yeah, pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a pretty big split. Their fan base split.
Crazy.
Just
Yeah, I was reading about like the initial thing. I was like, oh, so it didn't do that well, and then like continue reading. I'm like, oh, this was like a big deal because Sunvolt like crushed in comparison.
Are Sunvolt still around?
still going.
Yeah.
I mean, not as relevant
No.
at all. So
Okay.
There's not much change in the Sunvolt
Yeah,
sound.
yeah. Here's Passenger Side.
Hey, wake up. Your eyes weren't open wide. For the last couple of miles, you've been swerving from side to side.
I continue to feel this thing of just like it's so familiar, but it's like it still has a nice approach to everything. I think it's honestly his vocals are a really big like good approach to this style of music that isn't like you don't hear it all the time,
So Jeff Tweedy will tell you he doesn't think he's a great singer.
Yeah, sure.
So it's not vocal acrobatics.
That's definitely something I noticed. Yeah.
So
It's
Yeah.
interesting how much raspier his voice is in this era because he's still smoking.
Still smoking.
Yeah. He does sound
that is a
very
good point.
different
That
over time,
that
yeah.
sounds like that's a pretty dramatic shift in sound.
Yeah, that's very true.
And let's also think about the landscape of music at this time. This was not popular. Like, this was not the popular kind of music.
Yeah, it was the 90s.
So, well, what's interesting, in 95, biggest album of the alt-rock world is Cracked Rear View by Hootie and the Blowfish, which is weirdly similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, so this sort of country...
Post-grunge.
Country post-grunge
yeah.
thing
Yeah.
is there, but Wilco's not hitting for whatever reason.
That's weird.
So not too far after, we get the next album.
Yeah, so I'm going to cover band members.
Go ahead. Yes. do
So
that.
at this point, we have Jeff Tweedy
Okay.
and John Sturrott, who are always there.
Always there.
They're going to be consistent this whole time.
Okay.
We have Max Johnson, who's a multi-instrumentalist. Anything that sounds bluegrass is Max Johnson.
Okay.
And then Ken Coomer is playing drums.
That's an unfortunate name.
Not great. So we get Brian Henneman from Rocket from the... I can never remember if it's Rocket from the Tomb or Rocket from the Crypt.
Okay.
But it's pretty big
Rocket from the Tomb Crypt.
Yeah.
rockabilly band. Plays
Yeah.
guitars
Yeah.
on this
Okay.
record, but not a member of the band. And then a guy named Lloyd Maines plays pedal steel.
So is
Lloyd
it-
Maines.
I've heard the name. He's all over
Yeah,
country music from the 80s and 90s.
that's crazy.
So is it a requirement to have a ridiculous name? Because it seems like they all do, even from the beginning.
So it's middle of the road white guy name. John, Jeff, Max, Ken,
Yeah.
Lloyd, Brian.
yeah.
Then a
yeah.
weird like
And then
Midwest last
your
name.
last name has to be
Yeah. Yeah.
Ian in the chat has confirmed that it's Rocket from the Crypt.
Rocket from the Crypt.
Thank
okay.
you, Ian.
Our fact checker.
Yeah. And spoiler.
Spoiler. Yeah.
So this
Sorry, Ian.
AM also features the only song not sung by Jeff Tweedy on there. It's a tune called "It's Just That Simple" by bass player John Sturrott.
Okay. And
So-
and why does he not sing again?
He sings harmony
Oh, but yeah,
the
but-
whole time,
So is
but I just don't know if he didn't write anything. He
Okay,
he
okay.
doesn't talk about.
I've
it
got this
much.
book he could use.
wouldn't it wouldn't it be really funny if like it wouldn't be funny, but like if like he was writing songs and then Jeff was like doing the Jay Farrar thing to his bass player for this many years.
So Wilco is a band of many branches.
Yeah.
So John Sturrott has a band called the Autumn Defense
Okay.
with Pat Sansone, where he's the lead vocalist.
Gotcha. Okay.
So anything he's writing is
Is
non-
over there.
yeah,
song.
yeah.
So he got his so he has his outlet. Okay.
He's doing his thing.
Gotcha. Okay. So I believe it's not much after that we get the next album being there, right? That's the next
Right.
one. Okay.
So being there's the big one for Wilco.
Okay, yeah.
So
It has much better sales and reception like right off the bat, and it seems like it's because of that similarity to Uncle Tupelo, right? That's like it's the similarity of that, but plus like adding new
So-
elements, right?
this is the start of the experiments.
Okay, yeah.
We bring in Jay Bennett, who's a mainstay for the next 3 albums.
Okay.
He's plays 19 instruments. He is
It's
the
impressive that
engineer
he could even like count. It's like
But
at a certain
he
point.
capped it at 19.
At a certain point, you got to be like, I don't know. I play a lot of instruments.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah.
do I play
Multi-instrumentalist,
1,
yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5. Like,
Yeah.
famously, if you watch the documentary that we'll discuss, that's the kind of guy Jay Bennett was.
okay, cool.
This is part 2 of Jeff wants to fight someone named Jay.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is the Jay Bennett era.
Maybe there's something else to unpack there.
We can get into that as deep as you want.
Sure.
So, being there releases it's way bigger, but Jeff Tweedy says this is a double album.
Right.
The label says no.
Right.
It's like 19 songs, right?
19 songs, cut down from 30.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Tweedy
That's
goes.
a nightmare.
Tweedy argues with the label and says, "We won't take any royalties.
Okay.
Release it as a double album.
Right.
We'll take our cut to pay for
Yeah.
it."
And
Yeah.
also charge the consumer the price of
gonna
a
be-
regular
One
record.
album. Yeah,
As
yeah,
a
yeah,
single
yeah.
album price,
Yeah.
we'll just eat it. They lose something to the tune of $600,000. in royalties for this album.
Jesus Christ.
But it's the biggest thing they've done to this point. It really solidifies them, goes gold.
Right.
First album to do that.
Right.
So
it like you said, the experimenting. I got I had the song "I Got You," and I got like instantly like more psychedelic like things.
Yeah,
just like
weird.
like right off the top. There's just like all these sounds that are happening that I'm like, well, that wasn't there on the first album, and yeah, it's the start of the experiment. But at the same time, like the vocals on this one are like I couldn't put my finger if it was like Beach Boys or like what I was like. This is like this has taken me somewhere else while also having this like almost like just like psych rock right underneath it that's just holding you down.
Can we hear a snippet of that?
Yeah, yeah.
Because mine was straightforward. I got Monday, the song Monday, and it was a pretty straightforward kind of
Monday's
just rocker.
Just a rocker.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, already from the first album to this, it's like they're getting more into the rock side of things. So there's evolution in the band from album 1 to album 2.
A lot more keyboards.
Yeah.
A lot more keyboards.
Yeah, I don't think anything was surprising in mine, not to the degree Hagen had.
Right. Yeah. There's none of this on Monday.
Yeah.
A little weird sound.
So weird.
From Jay Bennett. Great tremolo that you can hear in the amp there.
And then it's like great guitar.
And then you get this great harmony vocal through the whole thing.
Oh, that's so
See,
good.
like I like it's give me like Beach Boys, like
Yeah.
like
Oh,
some
no.
Eagles, like it's like
I'm 35.
The next level is Big Star, which we'll talk about later. This is very much like a Big Star style song.
Yeah. Ian said the American Tragically Hip. It does sound very hip.
that sentence. I understand what you.
I
meant,
understood.
but
Yeah, I
it's a
understand
very-
what you meant, but that's it's hard to parse for people.
So on this we get Jeff and John. You know, guitar, vocals, bass. Still got Max Johnson there. Jay Bennett's playing guitar and keys. Ken Coomer's still playing drums. We get a couple of pedal steel players for a couple of tracks. A guy named Bob Egan, a guy named Greg Leese.
Okay,
So produced by Wilco, engineered by Jay Bennett.
that's great.
So that's going to be pretty consistent for
The
for
next
a couple of
And
albums.
Yeah,
mixed
yeah.
by Jay, too, as well.
Mixed by Jay.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, and this is the same thing I felt before, where I was like, I just didn't get that '90s production right off the bat thing. I was like, this is just something else.
But even if it is, it's like it's almost gone by this second album at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Black Crows were kind of big at this point, right?
Yeah, this would have been kind of the kickoff.
Like
of
around
that,
there,
for
yeah.
sure.
So they're maybe a little similar, but even their records do sound a little dated.
Like of the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the '90s roots rock revival
Yeah.
still sounded mostly '90s.
Yeah.
Is there anything off this album that you also wanted to listen to?
So we'll get to it. There's a song called "Misunderstood."
Okay,
Opens the album.
I had the live version of that
So
on mine.
the
Yeah,
live
yeah.
version is important because Jeff Tweedy famously shouts the word "nothing" seemingly endlessly.
Okay. Yes.
Sometimes
okay, yeah,
sometimes
okay,
until
yeah.
like his sounds like his voice is like he's gonna bleed.
So I've seen Wilco 3 times, and it's been 24, 27, and 25 times.
that he's just yelled the
He's
word.
just, I want to thank you all for nothing.
Are you counting?
Nothing. Yeah, every time. The live track that I'm gonna make Hagen play this
Yeah.
clip from is, I believe, 35.
Holy shit.
That's insane.
So, you should next time you go see them have one of those clickers that keeps count and hold it up so that Tweety can see it. And does he ever do the song acoustic?
I'm sure.
Yeah,
he
that
does a
would be
ton of
intense.
acoustic shows. He's got a couple of projects that we'll get into later.
Yeah.
A band with his kids and
Tweety.
Tweety.
Yeah. There is a tragically hip song that the lead singer, Gord Downey, sang Here Now, screamed it, and as the band progressed through their career, he just started full on screaming it. And the last concert before he passed away, knowing like he knew he was going to pass away, he was screaming it, and it was like so heart wrenching. It was just like so hard to listen to.
Okay, do you want to skip to where that happens in the song? Let's see. 'Cause it's,
So I meant to take this note. I have a 1-year-old, so that note turned into just nothing while I chased her around our house all day. So, yeah, it's going to be like 2/3 of the way through.
Okay, yeah. So I will say, because this was my song for the live album on the playlist, and I don't know how it was for you guys, but when I first started listening to this, I thought that it was a studio album that they were just putting live sounds in, because
like Benny and the Jets.
It felt so like perfectly interspersed. It felt so natural.
Sure.
My first note that I wrote was like, is this a live album? And then I did like a modicum of research. I'm like, you fucking moron. Like,
it says live on it.
well, I just, on the playlist, it just says this. It just says Misunderstood Wilco. So I'm like,
I can see how you got there.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing that like doesn't necessarily like bug me about live albums, but like I don't care for is that it feels live constantly, and it definitely disappears in here till like the beginning and the end.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is that like, so when I listen to stuff for deep dives, I generally don't have my phone open following each thing along. I'll try to like take notes at certain points, but in general, I'm just like kind of listening to what's happening.
Right.
So I put the playlist on the first time, and I'm just like letting it go, and I get to that, and I'm like, whoa, what's this?
Yeah.
Okay, let's give this a listen.
Oh, Spotify kept count.
I think they must have missed some. They must have missed some there.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a pretty angry lyric. I'd like to thank you all for nothing.
Especially in a live track.
Horns.
Keyboards.
Is it keyboards?
All keyboards.
Dave's in the audience with his clicker.
With the clicker.
This is like what makes panic attacks.
Sure. We'll get into some of that later, too.
There were people listening to this record going, fucking CD player?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. If it's the last track on a vinyl record, you're like, it's in a loop.
Yeah.
It's all in time.
And he cues it, or do you think he tells them the number before they play it?
Oh, he cues it, for sure. Wow. Something interesting, if I understood correctly, they are not a click track band.
Yeah, that's
So
they don't
makes
That would
sense.
be shocking. if
pretty
they were, yeah.
pretty loose in the form. So 35 times, I believe,
Yeah.
on that live album.
That reminded me, and I'm glad we listened to that part, because that reminded me of a Queens of the Stone Age song off of Rated R, where it ends with this like this really long like there's like repeated riff. I think the riff's in 7. It's in some odd time, and then there's a horn section starts to come in, and the horn starts to get all random, and then the riff starts to fade away, and it's just the horn section, and that horn section just kind of like noodling, fading away, making a bunch of noise for probably like, but it's all repeated. It's not like something new every time for like fucking like 45 seconds. There's this story. It's so true. There's this story of a friend of mine listening to it in like an art class in high school, and that just kept happening. And the art teacher stood up and just stared over the speaker until it stopped. And as soon as it stopped, it was just finally like.
It's fascinating to be in the crowd for that moment.
Yeah.
Because
for unknowing fans.
I went in September,
Right.
this past September, and saw them, and stood with someone who brought his new girlfriend, who had never listened to Wilco, and she just visibly got upset about the 15th time through.
Yeah,
Oh my god!
I can see that.
That's so funny.
Just, I think
like,
Jeff is watching someone and goes, "When they're tired of this, I'll stop."
I love that.
Okay.
I wonder what the most they've ever done was.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like they opened the show with this song, and then for an hour and a half, just nothing.
So, and Misunderstood opens Being There as an album.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's pretty abrasive,
Yeah.
and then everything kind of levels back out.
It's so crazy.
I like the name alt country, but there's also like aspects of this that like remind me of emo music sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like especially when you like look at like what wave of emo was happening during the 90s. It's like, yeah, okay, I could maybe see some connections here.
Jeff Tweedy struggles with being a country band.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
at this point in their career, that's how they're being billed.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Jeff Tweedy's going, I'm into the Minutemen and the Replacements.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of country in what I'm doing. I don't
Right. We're not in Nashville.
I just sound like this.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I mean, it's like Jason Isbell doesn't call himself country, right? He
No.
doesn't. He doesn't think he's a country artist.
He thinks he's rock. It's rock and roll.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Right.
But too bad for his accent.
Yeah.
Tell his accent.
He's like, I don't think we're country. That was a pretty good Jason Isbell.
That was
by
pretty
the
good,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
No, thanks.
You want to come here more often? This is great.
I'll hang out. I have a few more artists we can get into.
Oh, perfect. Great. Okay. So are we cool to jump into the next record?
So the next record's an interesting one.
Yes.
So what we have is Summer Teeth
Yeah.
is the next Wilco record.
Okay.
But they start demos, and the band gets a call from Norah Guthrie, who's the daughter of Woody Guthrie.
Yeah.
She says, I've got boxes of lyrics. Billy Bragg wants to record some of these songs.
Wow.
Do you guys want to help him do that?
Yeah, because Billy Bragg was like, I'm worried that people are going to think that this is just a new batch of songs that I've written.
Sure.
So he wanted like a band to go with him to make it not feel so
Something
much like Woody Guthrie
Different.
stuff.
Yeah.
So Jay Bennett is a huge Billy Bragg fan. His previous band is called Titanic Love Affair, which is a Billy Bragg song.
Okay.
He's thrilled. Can't
Yeah.
wait to do it. Jeff says,
Okay.
we'll do it. It's fine. So, some tension there.
Sure.
It's not my favorite Wilco
Okay.
stuff
Yeah.
because it loses
It's
the Jeff Tweedy experience.
yeah. That
So-
makes sense.
Sadly, their biggest hit comes from this album, a tune called California Stars.
Oh yeah. Okay. Crazy. Didn't know that
So-
was off of that. Okay.
That is
If I had to play that song. Yeah.
that is a Woody Guthrie lyric.
Yeah.
They pretty much have to play it when they play live.
That song has like fucking like 5 or 6 verses,
Sure.
and it's like it's obnoxiously long, and it's like nothing ever happens. It's like those verses. That's it.
That's a great song for us for a lively show.
Yeah. It's like it's
That's
a.
what the people go to the shows for.
Yeah.
When I learned that song, I was sitting there like, "Fuck, is that it?" Like, I don't know how long it is. It felt like maybe like 4 or 5 minutes, something like that.
It's a long one. For
Yeah,
Sure.
and I sat there like with like my iPad out ready to chart the whole thing, and I'm like, "Fuck, are we serious? That's all I had to write was this one groove for a
first 4
bajillion
bars.
fucking times. This is so dumb."
I don't even think there's a chorus.
There's not. I'm pretty sure it's one of those songs like verse and then like instrumental and then verse. So yeah. It's
And
wild.
If you're ever curious if your song's a big hit, there is absolutely a Bob Seger cover
Of that song?
Wow.
of California Stars.
Oh my God.
Wild. Okay.
So they record this. Jay's thrilled. Jeff is indifferent,
Sure.
to say the least. And then they wrap this up. They go back to Willie Nelson's studio in Austin to record
Cool.
Summer Teeth,
Okay.
which, by and large, the most adventurous thing Wilco's done at this point.
Right.
So
Because they were hanging out with Willie Nelson.
Yeah, that makes sense.
that's maybe part of it. It's the first Wilco album with Pro Tools,
Right.
which
So
is a big
Oh,
note.
okay.
it was a
Interesting.
lot of it was like way more overdubbing this time, right? It was like a lot more like writing in the studio instead of like doing the live recording already having it done thing, right?
Right.
Some
So,
people would say too much overdubbing.
well, people being John Stewart, the bass
Exactly.
player,
Yeah.
has a pretty famous quote that he wanted to call the album "Jay Bought a Mellotron." So this is a Baroque pop,
Yeah.
Beatles-esque album that is, I would say, more Jay Bennett
Okay.
musically than Jeff Tweedy at this point.
And Jeff Tweedy's pretty down in the dumps because he's going
So-
through a divorce, right?
Right. Well, not quite a divorce.
Oh.
He and his wife are fighting. He's strung out on opioids.
Yeah.
Is it Vicodin?
Vicodin for migraines.
Yeah.
Then Jay Bennett is also just on drugs at this point, and they're
In Willie Nelson's studio.
in Willie Nelson's studio.
Yeah.
You're in a really good
You
situation.
walk in
there.
and they're like, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
So a lot of the band isn't thrilled with their contributions.
Okay.
So, because Jeff and Jay are recording everything,
Right.
so they lay down rhythm tracks, bass and drums, and then say, "All right, we'll see you guys," and then come back to crazy things.
Yeah, I felt that like my track was it like had like again this kind of like old timey vibe that I'd already felt, but then like all these extra like dark sounds on top of it that I was like, it's I still liked it, but it was interesting under like the pretense of like the album previous where it was like we're gonna get experimental, add some psychedelic elements and shit, and then this one's like, well, what if it was like while also here's a song. Because my song "My Darling" has like this like old timey piano that starts the whole thing, and I'm like, what a juxtaposition. Like I can't decide where I'm trying to go here, you know?
Yeah, I think at the end of my tune, it just kind of fades out with like weird keyboard stuff, like Mellotron sounds and stuff like that, and I'm just like, okay, that's a way to end it.
So there are some hits via Chicago.
Yeah,
the album version is on this.
In which they don't do the thing where they like break everything out.
No, it's not. It's not as prevalent. It's there. The theory is, Jeff Tweedy said, "I want that section of the song live to sound like the L train going over your head in Chicago."
Oh,
okay.
As the character who's running from the police in the song.
Cool. Yeah.
So it happens a few times where he would be running, trying to hide.
That's cool.
And then this chaos is happening.
That's very cool.
Overhead.
So who's on this one?
So Summerteeth is the same lineup.
Okay.
With I don't have anybody new. There's a guy named Leroy Bach who comes in and plays piano.
Jesus fucking
Somehow
Christ.
the first normal last name.
Is it
Bach.
normal? They got a guy named Bach to come play piano. Are you fucking serious?
Dude, but to be fair, his name's Leroy.
Yeah.
Hey, Leroy Bach, do you want to come play some fucking piano?
His parents
I've got
are
some
assholes.
PowerPoint for you.
Like, what if your last name is Bach? It's like, what do we name our child? Leroy. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. And Jeff Tweedy is so strung out that he's like, we need a new keyboard.
Yeah, we got this guy Bach.
Dude.
And he's like, I know a guy named Bach. It's like, fuck, I thought he was dead. Let's get him.
Oh man, that's crazy. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Yes, does that work?
So I want to play a clip.
Okay,
there's a pretty famous lyric in the tune "She's a Jar."
Okay.
That was on mine, I believe.
I believe that was yours. Yes. So I think I wrote this note. This will be at the 4-minute, and we'll do 15-second mark.
Okay.
Jeff Tweedy's lyrics on this album in particular kind of start with some of his songwriting theories in this book, what I like to call word salad.
Well, and there's a specific name for it, isn't there? His technique.
I don't remember.
I have it here. Let's talk about it.
It's fascinating.
It is fascinating, and if I'm being completely transparent, it kind of ruined because I heard this about his writing before I ever really got into them. It's called a word ladder, right?
Sure, word ladder. There we go.
So it is you pick a word. So basically, it's like you come up with a label or a specific job. So like a dancer. Then you come up with 10 verbs to describe the job. Then 10 nouns you currently see in the space around you.
Okay.
And then you make a side-by-side list of those 10 things, and then you match them up in weird combinations.
Yeah.
And force them into a song.
That's
and
cool.
It's a good way for him. He said he hasn't used it a lot, or maybe I misread, but it was a good way for him to like kind of just get words out when he wasn't feeling the most creative.
And you don't like that?
Well, I started listening to everything.
Like with that context, you can.
Sure.
Yeah, like how does he think about some of the like she's a jar?
Sure. Yeah.
Like not a jar like off to the side.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a jar of jelly
Sure. Yeah.
or jam.
What's the difference between jelly and jam?
Not
Let's listen to
saying
the
that.
song.
She's a jar with a heavy lid. My pop quiz kid, it's a sleepy kisser, a pretty war with feelings hid. You know she begs me not to hit her.
So Susan Tweedy, not a big fan of that lyric.
I can't imagine why.
So the line, she's a jar with a heavy lid, my pop quiz kid, a sleepy kisser, a pretty war with feelings hid. You know she begs me not to hit her. Jesus Christ.
Ay.
So,
He gets clean and he's like, I said what?
well, she's famously asked him, just change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, I can't.
I mean, that's
You can.
That's the song.
You can. People have.
That's well, I mean, with Coheed and Cambria,
Yeah.
Claudio doesn't change it.
Yeah.
Claudio sings very like horrible things about the mother of his children while she's side stage with their kid, like all the time.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
On one hand, you can say life happens, and that's where I was at this point. So,
Yeah.
so I have to live with it because it's the art that I'm making. But in my head, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll change it.
Yeah.
If Metallica can stop cussing,
Exactly.
then we can change lyrics.
Yeah. Metallica, the Will Smith of the metal world.
I would like to give Will Smith a little more credit. Okay, so next we have Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, which
Right,
is the one that I have heard the name of.
Yeah.
This is the buckle in section of the
This is the album name everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I just wrote on the first note I wrote, this album was drama.
Yeah.
In every sense.
And this is 2002, so we had it's just steady. I think that's one thing. Just real quick, everything seems like there's not long breaks really.
So, and this is released in 2002.
But they recorded
but
it.
recorded it in late 2000.
Yeah.
Which is important in a few ways.
Yeah.
The first being album slated to release initially September 11th, 2001.
Right.
Two problems there.
I forget what happened that day.
You know,
Well, your shirt might explain why you forgot what happened. That day.
the album cover is the Marina Towers in Chicago.
Yeah.
2 towers.
Before.
This is before.
Oh.
We thought Simpsons could see the future.
Yeah.
There's
Jeff
Or
Tweedy.
Spider-Man.
It's Vicodin Jeff Tweedy.
Vicodin Tweedy also wrote
a horrible
a song and
superhero.
recorded called "Ashes of American Flags."
Oh.
So
Yikes.
the band records this album. Everything at this point has been on Reprise Records. Famously, there's the documentary "I'm Trying to Break Your Heart."
Yes.
The Sam Jones documentary, incredibly hard to watch.
But it's a good watch. It's also hard to find online.
That was what I was going to ask about. Is that the documentary is really hard to get a hold of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lots of drugs from all sides.
But this is when they switched labels, right?
Eventually,
Right.
so they record the album for Reprise.
Yeah.
They turn it in, and they said, "We can't release this; it's garbage."
There's nothing marketable on this. There's nothing we can use as a single.
country.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is this album gets compared to Radiohead a ton.
Okay. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my
Radiohead-
notes,
Radiohead fan goes, yeah.
Yeah.
American Radiohead. Yeah.
American Radiohead. So Jeff is popping Vicodin. He's running around Chicago. He meets a guy named Jim O'Rourke, who's playing in Sonic Youth at the time. He's listening to all this crazy experimental noise music and says, I got to start a band with this guy. So he says, hey, Jim, let's do something. Jim says, cool, I'll play bass. My buddy Glenn will play drums.
Yes.
So this is where we get Glenn Cochie.
Yes.
Damn.
It's Jim O'Rourke's kind of right-hand man.
God, he's so good.
You know,
He's such a good drummer.
God, he does like fucking 3 things at once. It's so good.
So
Calm down.
they're
Hagen.
He's so
trying
good.
trying to record this album. Jeff and Jay are fighting all the time.
Yeah.
They're experimenting with. They've got the numbers stations, recordings of people speaking code for like military operations.
Well, Jeff was reading books from that era, right?
Yeah, he's
like
reading-
memoirs or something like that.
just reading any information he can about wind talkers and code speak and
Yeah.
As you do in your mid 30s.
nothing.
When you're Vicodin Tweety.
He's trying.
nothing says Vicodin.
He's trying to get sober at this point too, isn't he?
Those books would do it.
He goes to rehab
conceptually.
but he
He goes to like an inpatient kind of like mental hospital / rehab.
right.
Doesn't quite take.
Yeah, and he's also like replacing the Vicodin with marijuana, or with drinking and then with
say
marijuana,
More alcohol.
because that helps.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah.
So
That's how you solve.
No more Vicodin, but boy, am I hooked on alcohol.
Boy, am I drunk.
No migraines though.
I mean, we can't tell anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
What's this headache from?
There's a scene where he's talking about his headaches, and he gets them to film him throwing up in the toilet.
So that's the famous fight.
Yeah.
There's a song called "Heavy Metal Drummer."
Yeah.
That has literally a 3-second sample
Yeah.
at the beginning of it. Jay Bennett's arguing with whether it's part of the track before or the track after. Jeff says about 100 times, "I'm listening to you. I just don't care. I'm gonna go throw up."
Wait, can we hear that?
Are we gonna listen to the sample?
Yeah, I would love
Okay.
to. Is it as you said? It's right
It's
at the top.
start, yeah.
Heavy Metal Drummer. There's just a drum loop sample.
This is the sample they couldn't argue.
It's already done.
Oh, that's it? Wait, they were like, so they argued about the sample of this.
Yes.
Whether or not it was the beginning of this song
Or
the song before.
Or the end of Ashes of American Flags.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Oh, and so Ashes of the American Flags is before this
It's
in the
before
track
that song.
listing.
So they just
Oh
argued
my
about where to
God.
put it.
Yeah, Jay says it's this. Jeff does not care.
I'm going to go throw up.
What a weird thing to care about.
So
Wait.
there-
There's got to be Wilco fans who have shirts with that on it, right? Because that's so fucking good.
Yeah, I don't care.
I haven't. I don't care. I'm gonna go throw up.
Yeah, but I don't care on the front. I'm gonna go
I'm
throw
going
up
to
on
go
the
throw
back.
up on the back, yeah.
So
New koozie idea.
at this point, Ken Coomer, the drummer, who's
Yeah.
been there since the beginning,
Yeah.
says, "I hate this. I'm out," and quits halfway through the session.
Eat too much cumin.
So he's out.
He heard them arguing about that song or that sample, and he's like, I can't do this anymore.
So
He's like, why are you arguing about a drum loop? I'm right here.
I read that Jeff called the manager and said, "Hey, can you fire this guy?"
right. So he's hanging out with Glenn Koji, and he's like, "Glenn's great. Ken is awful. Can we get him out of here?"
That's some fucking Foo Fighters shit
So-
right there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Ken doesn't want to play
Yeah.
like Jeff wants him to play. This is the first time it comes to rear its head that Jeff pretty much says, "My name's on the contract.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else's. Wilco is Jeff
Yeah,
Tweedy.
it's his band. Yeah.
Because when they signed to the label, it was just his
It's
name on the
just-
contract,
Just Jeff Tweedy."
and he knows what he wants.
Good for him.
What is it like? Did he? Someone said every circle needs a center.
That is a Jay Bennett quote about Jeff. He says Jeff Tweedy says it. No one's really sure. Every circle needs a center,
And it's Jeff.
and
And I'm going to go throw up.
the center of the Wilco circle is Jeff Tweedy.
Yeah, it's that's how bands should work.
Yeah, I mean, I think for my song on this, I had the song that's the name of the documentary, right? I'm trying to break your heart. Yeah, and I felt that like this song had like these moments where it'd be like acoustic guitar singing, and it's like this is a song, but underneath it is like it's like organized chaos.
Sure.
Like like drums are coming in at the most random times, but it's very repeated themes. But by the end of it, you get to like where it feels like the song, and yet all those chaotic themes are now like coming together for some like. But it still feels like, why is this here? No, like who would think of this? This is one of those things where I say this all the time on the show, but like if someone would play that for me in the studio, I'd be like, what the fuck are you thinking?
Right.
Like
Sure.
The Wilco loft too. Is this where they first get the loft?
This is the first appearance of the
Yeah,
Loft.
and
They're-
it's a mess by the time they're done in the documentary. It's like there's percussion and everywhere. There's like mini pianos and so many pianos, like vibraphones, like everything all over the place. It's just a fucking mess.
Wouldn't yours be though?
No.
If you had a studio loft by the end of it.
Well, by the end of it,
You're a
maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
multi-instrumentalist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You played 19.
I could play 19 instruments.
Okay, is there a clip on this one that you want to check out?
flip through my notebook here.
What was that sound?
It was my.
Oh,
I was cheersing
cheersing
my
your
mic.
microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Told you to stop doing
Anybody
that.
want a water while I'm over here?
No, we're good. I'm good. Blake, do you want a water?
I am fine. I'm a lightweight in that world. So I've got the first 18 seconds of "I Am the Man Who Loves You."
Okay.
Something Jeff Tweedy is trying to do at this point. He's having panic attacks, maybe caused by the Vicodin. We're not sure.
Oh, you said you're a lightweight in the beer world, but you are a heavyweight when it comes to making spicy chili.
Yeah.
So much, and just chili in general.
What?
Because
What a transition.
just to say, you made Hagen the spiciest chili you could.
Yeah.
And
He tried to
it's-
kill me.
He tried to kill you. It
tried to
sat,
kill you.
it sat in the fridge at our work, and the fucking container for the chili was warped.
The plastic lid war.
Yeah.
The plastic lid was melting in the fridge
And
because of how
I
spicy it was.
fucking
That's
ate that
impressive.
shit.
I know.
I fucking ate that
I was
shit.
like, I thought you were gonna
pacing
eat it
around
at
the
work.
house like, oh God,
I was like,
no.
"You're gonna eat this at work?" And you're like, "Fuck no, dude! I'm gonna go home in the privacy of my own home."
We didn't see Hagen for weeks.
Oh man, it was really good chili though. I did not have the spicy stuff. I did not, but it was delicious.
Like the admittance of you tried to kill me was probably the best. That's
I asked for your consent to try to kill
What
you
there
with
was like
chili.
2.4 million Scoville or
Oh,
something in
I'd
it.
have to look at the chart again.
it was
a lot.
incredible.
I think it was
delicious.
maybe 15 peppers varieties.
Jesus.
And it was the fucked up part. It was so good. It was so delicious. I was like, I gotta keep eating this.
So we'll tie this together. This is the first appearance of what I like to call the Jeff Tweedy panic attack guitar sounds.
Sick. Okay.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I'm the man who loves you.
Eat your heart out, Jack White. For anyone wondering how to get fired from a band,
Well, you know.
All I can see is black.
Yeah.
can we
right.
run that back? I
Yeah,
gotta hear it
yeah,
again.
Yeah.
Just to give you that whole 20 seconds again. It's like set the tempo and then fuck them up.
So if Jackson starts doing this, you're just going to walk out of the room, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I thought it was there. It's an odd number of bars,
So
too.
Yeah.
What the
good.
fuck?
That's so good. Ian
So-
in the chat said that's a Misfits solo if I've ever heard one.
All day. He is a punk rock guy, after all. So
I'm going to transcribe that.
It's surprising they hear that and they're just like, we're not.
Yeah.
We can't sell this.
Well, that's the thing. If you listen to this
I was gonna say,
record,
is that the first song on the album? I don't.
It is
I wasn't
not.
looking
Yeah,
at it, but
I-
that would be great if that's the first song. You just see the record execs be like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
So what did
To
we
be
do?
fair, I'm trying to break your heart is the first one, and it is also
a tough listen.
just
I listened to this whole record after watching the documentary some years ago, and I was like, I get it. I understand. I understand.
I would not have listened to it and said this is going to be a huge hit.
Exactly.
Ian said I would ask this song on a date for sure.
Just hide your keys.
And hide
Put
your
them.
Vicodin.
Put your keys in this bowl over here.
So the band fights the label,
right.
says we're going to take our masters back, and Reprise says, yeah, we're not doing anything. So
This sucks. We're not
this-
doing it.
this is the point in 2002, after all these legal battles, that they put it on their website.
Yeah.
Hey, it's on our website. Listen to it.
Crazy.
A ton of listens on their website. So None Such Records picks it up. The fascinating thing about None Such Records is it is owned by Reprise Records. So
See, I didn't know that.
they paid them to make the album,
Uh-huh.
kick them off the label,
Yeah.
and then buy the album from them to release.
Yeah, on a different,
That's
like
pretty
under a
great.
different name.
Well, that's like businessman. That's like businessman speak for. I'm too embarrassed to go back and be like, actually, can we have this? And go, you go do it. You
Well,
go do it.
and other bands benefited from them. At the time, that label was having a lot of trouble, so they started trying to like push out bands that were kind of like copy and paste a little bit of some popular stuff that was going on. There's a quote from the Flaming Lips main person was like, that was great. Their regret for getting rid of Wilco and Wilco having like such a successful release with this album only benefited us because they were like, we're going to let you do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Right.
And it turns out for some songs and albums of Flamey Lips, that was a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh,
Maybe we should have reeled you back in a little bit.
It's also important to note Jay Bennett is immediately fired after the album is mixed.
Yeah.
Right on.
So Bennett out. And Jeff is at this point done fighting with guys named Jay.
Love it.
Yeah.
Good.
Doesn't end well.
That's important.
For him either.
So, no, not at all.
Accidental overdose.
Accidental overdose in 2009.
Yeah.
You also fitted Dave's Death Corner in here.
Yep.
Yeah, way to go.
Another one for fentanyl.
You know what? Maybe you get a cancel buck for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that didn't feel good coming out of my mouth.
It took you about 7 seconds to realize that wasn't good, though.
He got red, boys. He got red.
I'm red now.
You should go do some stand-up
my
and see
shirt.
how it goes.
No. People just be throwing cancel bucks at me, and I'll
We'll
never.
just let you sit with that one.
Yeah.
So at this point, we run into Ghost is Born.
Yes.
2004, which is Jeff Tweedy,
Yes.
John Sturrett, Glenn Cochee, Leroy Bach still hanging out playing piano.
Let's go, Bach. Come on.
Bach.
Come on, Bach.
So Jeff Tweedy records all of the guitars for this album.
Yeah.
Which is
Okay.
the first time he's really taken on the
The lead guitar thing.
lead guitar thing.
Yeah. And it's so fucking good.
Yeah, he's a great. guitar
God
player.
damn, he's so good.
So
That's weird that he just kind of like. Obviously, he didn't just decide to do it on this album, but it's weird that didn't happen sooner on some songs, right? Like
I would think he would have played more,
yeah.
but Jay Farrar is like, you're a pretty good guitar player. You're playing bass for most of Uncle Tupelo until we hire John Sturrett, and then you can play rhythm guitar. So
Yeah, okay. I see.
he's
I see.
struggled with it.
Yeah.
So it's also important to note, Ghost is Born fully strung out on opiates at this point.
And this is when he actually does go to rehab because they have to push the album back, right?
So this is the tour
Okay.
following the album.
Yeah, okay.
So Jeff's in full migraines all the time, panic attacks all the time. He decides on this album, I'm going to try to sonically recreate how this makes me feel.
Cool.
So there are some
That
tunes,
is a challenge.
some tunes where that happens. I think I gave Dave Handshake Drugs,
Handshake drugs. Yeah.
which I think actually kind of nails it.
Yeah. It still sounds like a Wilco song, but
Absolutely.
Mine was pretty chill.
Yeah. I don't remember what I gave everybody, if I'm being honest.
Mine was Theologians.
Theologians.
And I was like, this is good. I didn't get any of those vibes.
Bangers.
Yeah, banger. Exactly. Yeah, that truly is like. I was like, this is fucking hitting. This is so good.
Adam, what did I give you for
Company
that
in my back.
one? Yeah.
I think this was the middle point where it's getting kind of weird, and I'm like, I'm into this. This is good.
And Theologians is where they say the album title. I was like, okay. I was like, I kept hearing the word ghost, and I'm like, I should double check before I. And yes, they kept saying and it was like the bangers with like killer guitar solo, like octave vocal lines throughout. It was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, so good. But this album did win them a fucking Grammy.
It won a Grammy. So I believe it's for artwork, maybe?
Best alt music album.
Best alt music?
Yeah.
So-
Best like best alternative music album for I guess 2005 it would have been.
Sure.
But yeah, that like what a crazy time to like, you know, him being totally strung out, put all this energy into this and win a Grammy out of it.
Yeah. So we have some new people show up. We get Michael Jorgensen,
Yeah. God, what the fuck?
who comes into place some keyboards.
Uh-huh.
And of course, Leroy is upset, so he quits.
So yeah, because Jorgensen joined, so Bach had to leave. Like, what
right.
the
he
fuck?
had to go be in the theater.
it's only one German last name
what
allowed
is
in the band
this?
at a time.
Jesus.
So this is another Handshake Drugs is another great lyric where Jeff is just like, I'm doing drugs, everyone.
I you know I feel like most people don't like this, but I think it reminds me of just like the Rick and Morty like the bit where he turns into a kid and he's like, I want to die, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh dude, this guy's awesome, we love this guy.
It's great. It's great. So we record this album. Jeff has been a big fan of Mike Watt. Has been watching Mike Watt tour
Okay.
with his bonkers guitar player, a guy named Nels Cline.
Fuck yeah, Nels Cline.
So he's a jazz guitar player.
Oh, he's so good.
Who played with Mike Watt doing his like punk rock thing. He recorded an album of
I did not know that.
I can't believe I lost the trumpet Miles Davis tunes.
Wow.
With just bonkers guitar sounds.
Yeah.
The biggest reason I'm into Wilco, because as I said earlier, I'm a guitar super fan.
Guitar super fan.
He brings in Nels Cline. Mm-hmm. He brings in Pat Sansone to fill out the live sound. They get together for rehearsals, play a few shows. Said, okay, tour leaves next week. Just kidding, I'm going to rehab. So,
wow, look at this great group of guys. I gotta go.
The band's finally good and together. No one's gonna quit. And I'm going to rehab.
it's the best we've ever been. I guess I can get my shit together.
Yeah.
That's
kind of inspiring.
That makes me think of one time I was on a gig and some guy went to counting the song and went, not that far. He went 1, 2, 3. No, I don't want to play that one.
That's good.
And I was like,
That's so good.
I would like you, if you don't mind, pull up Handshake Drugs.
yeah.
This is the I call it the migraine put to music
Cool.
section.
That sounds awesome.
We're gonna go from about 4 minutes out.
Okay. Right about there?
6 minute song. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's Grammy winning guitar.
Totally.
Oh no, this is the one I was thinking of. Never mind.
Nice little groove there.
It's really, that's nice. Is the migraine coming?
It's happening, and that just keeps happening.
As a person who gets migraines, Hagen, is this?
It feels like I should go take an Excedrin right now. Like I feel like it's coming on. I should preemptively.
So at this point, we're 45.
Yeah.
There's another minute and 15 seconds.
Of just
Let's do
this.
it.
Of this just getting
Let's do it.
Yeah.
more and more.
Dave's already done it.
Turning it down.
There are other textures that come in.
Yeah.
So it's abrasive, and he said, "This is what my migraines feel like."
Yeah, when you put it under the perspective of like, wow, there's a lot of cool textures, this is really cool. Like I think musically that's a different perspective than this is a migraine, and that for sure is like, I don't think it's bad still. That's great, but it definitely changes the perspective of how you might listen to the song. Yeah, I feel like a migraine is coming on.
Yeah.
I'm done here.
So
I'm gonna go throw up.
This leads us into the Kicking Television
The live album.
Jeff finishes rehab, and he says, "We're just gonna record a couple of shows on this tour."
Great. They do like
release it.
2 or 3 nights for this, right?
Yeah, I believe it's 2-3 nights in Chicago.
Yeah.
Hometown crowd, they're loving it. It's the first recorded output
It's great.
with the full band as it exists today. So the lineup never changes from this point. The 6 of them.
Yeah, this is with Nels Cline and Pat Sansone are that's their first time. Yeah, I guess it was Glenn's first time. Glenn's first time would have been at
Yankee Hotel Foxtrot.
Yeah.
So he re-recorded all of Ken Coomer's drums.
Hey,
Oops.
That's what happens.
It happens.
So
Jeff Tweedy has said that he's not happy with the way that went down.
that's fair.
that's super cool.
Yeah, that changes it.
I mean, it's like Dave Grohl talking it's like he wishes it would have gone a different direction and with that, but it's like you still were a dickhead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it still
he's like-
happened though. Yeah.
Well, in the documentary, he's like, I've done some things I regret. I've done some things I could have handled better. But oh well.
Yeah.
Too late now.
Oops.
Too late now. So if you wouldn't mind pulling up,
Yeah.
we're gonna check out the song I think I gave Adam, "Spiders."
Yep.
Spiders.
That was cool.
If only.
Yeah.
I would.
I mean, if they'd played SNL on the right day.
Okay. This one.
yeah.
Cool.
This
So,
You have a specific
11
spot to play.
minutes.
Yeah.
It is an 11-minute track.
So we're gonna listen to all 11 minutes.
Strap in, folks.
There was a point on my playlist specifically. It seemed like every song kept getting
Specifically.
longer,
Longer and longer.
and I would get halfway through it. I'm like, I like long songs, but some of these are long.
What is happening?
I did tell you that Adam likes soundtracks, so it's good you gave him all like things that could just feel like one soundtrack in one song.
Boy, am I glad you didn't mix our playlists up.
No.
That's your homework for next week.
I
is to
thought
listen to mine.
we're swapping. Like, I thought you fucking knew me, Blake.
I'm just trying to torture you.
What are all the
just pop
migraine
in like
songs?
half-ish way. 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
So just get some Nels Cline guitar sounds, bleeps and bloops, clicks and hisses. This is full krautrock, Jeff. Can and
Yeah,
Kraftwerk.
but like his. It's interesting you say like he considers himself like a bad singer. I believe that, but like it's like or not a singer or whatever it was. But like it's so. His voice is always on top of the right place. It sits exactly like, and maybe at points it's like you can hear one note that's like, huh, but it never is like, wow, this sucks. He's so like it's so appropriate.
Yeah, there's not a point where you're like, I wish somebody else were doing this. in the
Yeah,
band.
Right.
Yeah. I hate to say it. Keep saying it is, but it's just really good. I think he's a good singer.
He knows how to fit a song.
Yeah.
So
Like stuff like this. Yeah.
Is that Niels?
yeah, that's gonna be Nels doing some stuff. One of my favorite Nels Cline quotes feels like his job in Wilco sometimes is to be the guitar player, where people say, "I wish he'd stop doing that."
I've said that about Keith Richards several times.
So this is a jam. Big sing-alongs eventually.
Yeah.
Some feedback.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't. I assume this applies to the whole live album. It doesn't sound live here.
Right.
This
that's
just
right.
sounds like they were. There's an audience at the end you can hear.
Yeah, that's the. It's like the audience, or at least for my track, was like at the beginning cheering.
Yeah, the beginning of the
In the end,
beginning of the end, yeah.
You want some water?
Or less water.
and at the beginning of the end, there was like some spots they would yell like
Yeah,
with them,
yeah.
and I was like, oh, this is just part of the.
But like this
bit.
part right here, I would expect more audience noise, audience sound, and there's nothing.
or just like
So-
even like venue space sound, right?
Right, yeah.
This is a new song at this point. This is from
Okay. So they don't really know it.
now. This rhythm is a big sing-along part.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but you get the full,
Yeah.
just kind of chaos.
That's good.
So
That's great.
I'm going to check out that live album for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to most of Wilco over the next couple of
I
weeks.
was gonna say the next
But-
like 16 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm definitely checking out that live album because Via Chicago floored me.
Yeah.
My first listen through the playlist, I was like, that fucking song.
yeah,
Love
it's
it.
incredible. So we have to take a pause here.
Okay.
Because there's a term we have to talk about. So that term is dad rock.
Woo! Okay.
So my dad was a dad rock dad for sure. We were listening.
My dad was a dad rock dad.
We were listening to Kansas and Styx.
Yeah.
and Foreigner.
I saw all three of them at the same show with my dad once. So.
Of course you did.
What is this?
So there's
It's just funny how perfect that trio
That's
is.
Yes.
ridiculous. Jesus.
I don't know what your dads were listening to.
The Eagles
There you go. Dad rock
and Bob Seger.
together.
I got a weird situation because like my dad's like
Judas Priest.
well yeah but like I like if I can say this in like the just in any way, I actually don't really give a shit. He like finds himself to be musically intellectual, while just not at all, like
Got it.
not being there in the slightest.
Like listens to Brian Eno and thinks it's amazing.
Not Brian Eno, like he like listens to just I mean like it's a lot of classical, but also a lot of jazz. I think he understands jazz. But then he also listens to Judas Priest. There's
Yeah.
a point in time where like he was like really into like Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake. There's a point in time where like I mean he's a kind of big Zeppelin fan, but not really. The shit that like I got introduced to through my dad was like System of a Down.
Okay.
He kind of like, and Judas Priest. He was my intro to like metal. At the time, I didn't like metal, but it brought me into that world a little bit. So definitely not like cliched dad rock.
Yeah.
Not the Beach Boys.
I mean, he liked that stuff, but it just wasn't his like. It wasn't his go to. You know.
Right.
It was a lot of stuff that was musically interesting to him, and that he found had some kind of like higher place in the hierarchy of musical, whatever. So, yeah, because I've always found dad rock to be such an interesting term. Is like it's stuff your dad listens to, right?
Sure.
Well, okay.
So this is we're gonna get into Sky Blue Sky
Okay.
from 2007. It's the first studio album with the current lineup
Right.
intact, and I have heard it said this redefined dad rock.
Okay. Who
so-
said it?
If you wouldn't have asked, I could have told you it's a Pitchfork reviewer.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, of course.
It's not gonna come to me.
Sure.
I'll
Yeah.
text you. at
Pitchfork review. You're fine. Yeah.
4
Yeah.
a.m.
Yeah.
Just a name.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we get dad rock. So it's a pretty typical
Right.
post rehab
Yes.
album. The band records live together for the first time in a few years.
Yes.
Famously, Nels Cline says, "Jeff, what do you want me to do?" And he said, "Be Nels Cline."
That's great.
That's great.
So the clip I'm going to have you pull up is the clip everyone's been waiting for this entire episode, the Impossible Germany guitar solo.
I think the Side with Seeds solo is
His
right
guitar work
up there.
on the album is incredible.
It's Nils Klein, right?
Yeah.
He fucking rips.
Okay. Where do I go?
Let me see if I wrote it down directly. 245.
Okay. Here we go. This is the solo.
245.
This is the solo that. This is the solo that. For any of our people who haven't been to our YouTube yet, there's a great short, and it's on TikTok too, where Jackson says that guitar solos suck except for
Impossible
this.
Germany. Yeah.
This is he like has a firm stance on guitar solos suck except for this one. So this is the only good guitar solo left in the world.
Is he always in the left? He was in the left on the live record too.
He's stage left, so
Yeah.
I suppose they mix him. So the solo was improvised
Right.
in a demo session.
Okay.
So they go to record. Nels plays something different. Jeff Tweedy says, "Can you just play what you played on the demo?"
Yeah.
And Nels says, "Sure. I'll
me go
back
learn it."
and learn that." So he's relearning this part. It's a 3-minute guitar solo in a 6-minute song.
God damn.
Live,
Longer?
I've seen 9 to 11
Jesus Christ.
where it just rips, and it's pretty majestic sounding, I think.
Yeah, it feels so like I read that like they wanted to be more direct and more mellow on this album. And this feels exactly that. Like you get the point, it's chill, but it still is like fucking ripping.
Yeah.
But before any of this, before even the idea of doing this episode, I got into this record pretty deep. I think you actually told me to listen to it.
Sure.
You were like, check out Sky Blue Sky.
Oh yeah.
Here's our Allman Brothers moment.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So Jeff pulled Pat Sansone to the side and said, "Nels, we're gonna play that part. Do something else now." So they work up this harmony part.
Yeah.
So good.
It ends like that too.
Yeah.
Da-do-do-boo-boo. Really. Can we go to the solo in Side with Seeds?
Sure.
Yeah.
Towards the end, I think that song is 4 minutes and 16 seconds long, so I'd say probably maybe
Side-
3 minutes.
Side with seeds?
Yes.
Side with the seeds.
Side with the Seeds.
The lyrics on this album are very staying at home,
Yeah.
doing some chores.
I
Dad
love
stuff.
that.
It's made for you.
Just real dad songs.
Okay, where'd you say again? Sorry, where do you want
Maybe around 3 minutes.
Okay, cool, perfect.
To be free. Oh, outside with you.
We hear a lot of Nell's like jazz influence.
Yeah.
in this
Yeah,
record.
big time.
A lot.
This is super like arranged.
Yeah.
This is like overwhelming in the ears and incredibly impressive to
Yes.
follow. Yeah,
Come on.
that's a lot of notes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of notes.
This was on yours, right?
Yeah.
I was like, this is made for you.
There are jazz guitar players now that everyone loves, and I'm like, can't play like this.
Yeah. Consistently, especially,
That's
right?
so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, and this album's full of that.
Ugh.
That's so cool. Yeah, my song was much different, much more different.
Which song was yours?
Walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Much
was,
different.
It was a banger.
It's an upbeat little ditty.
It was a banger, and then I wrote down because it like has like some kind of like really cool groove in sections. And then like at the very end, I was like thinking like it comes back around. I'm like, this is basically like a breakdown, but it's like the groove. Like it's like this is basically like metal, but it's not.
Yeah. What I give you from that, Adam?
I just had it pulled up. I'm sorry.
You fucker.
I was reading Ian's comment, which is pretty good. I had to shake it off.
Okay.
Ian's comment was if Josh Homme went to school for music. Okay. Which is like that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's
That's what Josh Homme wants to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that sometimes I hear this kind of stuff, and I think of like I already mentioned a Queens of Stone Age reference to this, but it's like basically two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, I can see
right?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got like, cause like I talked to someone recently who was like, growing up when Queen's Stone Age was releasing stuff. I mean, I was too, but I was much younger. I didn't hear it like at the time. I heard it later, and they were like, as that released, people were like, "What the fuck is this? Like, what am I like? These guitar sounds in this setting is just so different." I feel like Wilco probably had a similar effect at certain times of their career, where it's like, how do you
Like,
compute
how'd you
this?
get here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Jeff Tweedy's a music guy. Like he's
Yeah.
always listening to new music as much as he can. So
I'm
the
so
influence is
sorry.
everywhere.
We have in the chat Whomping Waluigi, and it was sick. Thank you, Waluigi, and I would like for you to rate my. Wah! I'm gonna win. Give me your out of 10 for that one. Thanks, bud. All right, moving on.
All right. So 2009, we get the self-titled
Right.
Wilco the album.
Is that not confusing?
Very confusing.
Isn't this a weird time to do that too?
Very strange.
On my list was Wilco in brackets the song,
Wilco the song from Wilco the album.
but by Wilco the band.
This
By
feels
Wilco.
very on brand for before I had listened to much Wilco stuff. Before this, really, it was like they're kind of a pretentious band. They do the naming thing, and you're just like, oh, the song and the album, and you're just like, yeah, I understand how I thought that way. Now.
I thought that it was a bit, and then I read why they named it that, and I was like, that's what everyone does, fucking self-titled album names. It feels the most like the band's ever been.
Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to be funny.
So I wrote down, I think this is the funniest Wilco album.
Right. Yeah.
So, because of things like Wilco writing a song about how Wilco loves their fans.
Meta, bro.
So
That's Wilco, right?
yeah,
Yeah, where
That's
they're
so
basically
funny.
saying like Wilco will be there for
yeah.
you.
Wilco loves you, baby.
Wilco loves you, baby.
Whomping Waluigi, thank you for subscribing on YouTube. For all the audio listeners, you could do that too. We could thank you live on air. You could fucking watch us live, and we'll thank you for subscribing.
Come hang out with us.
So 2009, Jay Bennett dies of an OD. Jeff is sad about it, we suppose.
You didn't
Shit.
get canceled for it
Should've
earlier,
gotten
but
with it.
We'll bring it back up.
Yeah.
There is a song on this album called "You and I" that features an up-and-coming artist at the time, Feist.
Feist. Leslie
Yeah.
Feist.
Wow.
Yeah.
From Canada. As seen on my Wilco Canada shirt.
From Canada.
So,
Look at my tits.
Okay, you're gonna pull that song up.
yeah, I've got 40 seconds in.
What's this song called?
It's
again?
called
Sorry.
You and I.
I got
It's called From
distracted.
Canada.
This is their last album on None Such Records, by the way.
Say 20
Oh,
seconds.
20 seconds. Sorry.
40.
40
My
seconds.
fault. My fault. My fault. My fault.
You and I,
Very laid back.
me and you. What can we do? Well, the words we use sometimes.
I didn't look it up. Any idea when the first Feist record?
I won't guess
No, I'll look it up real quick.
what's coming next.
Super mellow, super chill.
Yeah, I don't remember what I gave everybody. I feel like probably Bull Black Nova.
Yep. Good one.
That Country Disappeared.
Country Disappeared is a good tune as well.
I had Wilco.
This guy says he's a bad singer or not. Whatever he
No,
said.
there is an
That
aspect of like Dave Grohl being like, I'm a bad drummer. Like,
Yeah.
you'd be like, no, come on, man.
Wilco's Let It Die came out, or not Wilco, sorry, Feist's Let It Die came out in 2004.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
It's been a little while,
It's
but not a long
it's
time.
2009, right?
Yeah.
2009. So 2 albums.
yeah, she already had like her big hits.
Yeah.
It's the only Wilco duet that I'm aware of.
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure that's what I read. Is that it's the only one. It's beautiful. Yeah, I felt like my song, Bull Black Nova had. It felt like more jammy and noisy and like way less of like the alt country vibes, like especially compared to that. And there's this like repeated guitar that like, and then repeated piano parts that are like kind of that same kind of like you said, like Panic Attack, like Jeff Tweedy guitar playing. And now that you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, 100%. That's in this song. Yeah, I must have typoed, but it applies. I said the song is still very based. But it still applies. That's totally fine. It's good to mention that all of these all of these albums they get put online on their website, and this is like for like way before any of the streaming shit.
Yeah.
Like, they're all on their website, and this one
And
got
before Radiohead.
right
And before radio.
and this one got put up because the album got leaked,
Right.
and so in response they were like, "Fuck you, here it is."
Wow.
Yeah, it's great. Love that.
Yeah, because I think a big part of that too is that they didn't want like the shitty MP3 like Napster version to be what people
Right. to
thought of
hear
the record.
this.
So they were like,
Yeah.
here it is before it comes out, or when it comes out, so that you can stream it
Yeah.
and hear what it's actually supposed to sound like.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear that song and then hear this one. I'm like, well, this album's fascinating.
So this is more of Wilco does what they want.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
That's why it's self-titled.
yeah. I fucking I don't know why I fucking copied this quote of this is what we felt. We felt like this is the band was meant to be. Awesome. They did win Best Americana Album Grammy for this, so that's 2 Grammys under the belt. Very
right.
interesting.
So moving forward, we get what I think is maybe the most ambitious Wilco record, which is an album called The Whole Love.
Yeah.
It's the first album on their own label, Decibels per minute. Decibels.
Decibel BPM. Yeah.
So dBm.
Decibel beats per minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't I hate that.
That's fair.
I read that and I was like, what? That's horrible.
Which explains why you gave me the song "I Love My Label."
Right, which is a cover of a Nick Lowe song,
Yeah,
but I could have put it on Hagen's list too because it's
it's a banger.
Is Dawned on Me a cover? The song you gave me.
I don't believe so.
It feels like bluesy. Like it could have been like a blues hit. Like it's got some really cool like stuff where I was like this I wrote like darker blues vibes, and that's what it keeps giving me. It's like, oh,
Can we hear a little bit of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah, we had that pulled up already. It's fine.
Dawned on me.
I've been young, I've been old, I've been hurt.
It's like really somehow just like this is like Queens of the Stone Age dark vibes, right? What you're talking about,
Yeah.
but like
So I'm told
there's some even more bluesy stuff that comes in here in a little bit.
I've been lost, I've been found.
It already has some of that.
Yeah.
By the sound of my own voice, the voices in my head.
Baritone guitar sounds.
Yeah.
I can't help it if I fall in
See how good that sounds? Also, some overdriven bass there.
Oh yeah.
Which is
Available at your fingertips. Yeah, exactly.
test to the east.
Yeah, that's a cool song. It's such a cool one. Yeah, I when I listened to that song, I was like, this could easily be a cover. This like, it sounded like it could have existed in another world, basically. Especially like the way that like the vocals, like the melody hit with like the guitar, with like the chord changes. I was like, is this some old 12-bar blues they turned into like some shit they wanted to do? But yeah, and this one also was nominated for Best Rock Album Grammy, which is kind of crazy.
Kind of different genre every time, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Obviously, very well received to be nominated for Best Rock Album. So, pretty cool.
Whole Love gets a lot of Radiohead mentions.
really.
So I pointed out in the song Art of Almost, which I believe is on
mine, yeah.
Adam's list.
I think that's where I wrote down American Radiohead.
So
Oh, really?
let's see if I can nail 3 minutes and 10 seconds in. This is where I wrote Radiohead ?
That's so fucking funny. Already.
Yeah. It's there. Yeah. And this is from the same record as I Love My Label.
And the song we just listened to.
And Dawned on Me.
Yeah.
Ambitious.
And they nominated that for Best Rock Album.
Yeah, this song specifically.
This is the first one. That's crazy.
7:15, I think. 7:15 long. So
That's wild.
Yeah, that sounds like the same keyboard sound they got in How to Disappear Completely.
yeah,
By
100%.
Radiohead.
Wouldn't be surprised if it's not the same keyboards.
Wow.
Dang, that's crazy.
So
All right, I'm a fucking Wilco fan.
We're not done yet.
Knew it.
man.
I know. We're not,
we still got some work to do.
Yeah, there's still like 10 albums left.
Yeah.
So
Or
we're gonna
13, depending on who you talk to.
Yeah.
yeah.
we'll move on to 2015. Where we get my
Blake's shirt.
Yeah.
The album Star Wars.
No, I wrote down a
This
lot of
I knew you were
things.
gonna love this.
Shut the fuck up. I
Fucking nerd.
Shut the fuck up. I will fucking hit you with a Star Wars sound. Which one do I want to... Oh, yeah. Do it. There we go.
That's it.
I wrote down like what I read about why they named it Star Wars, but you could probably give a more succinct version as to why like where the album title comes from than me reading a fucking like the quote.
So what's your quote? 'Cause it's probably the same thing I have.
The quote is it's in an interview where he basically talks about how in the loft there is the image of that cat that they chose to be the album cover. And he started to think about the phrase Star Wars and recontextualized it against the painting. He said it was beautiful and jarring. The album has nothing to do with Star Wars. It just makes me feel good. It makes me feel limitless and like there's still possibilities and still surprise in the world. Is what he said about that. Which I think that's awesome. I think that's great. And I think he was on some late night show, and they asked if he thought he'd be sued by George Lucas, and so they had a prepared album artwork that was the McDonald's Golden Arches as an upside down W for Wilco.
For Wilco.
Yeah.
Was prepared to call the album cease and desist.
That's golden.
Yeah, that's fucking great. What a fucking great album title. Shut up. I am a nerd.
You're a nerd.
Get out of here.
We accept you for that.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate
So
it.
what songs did I give everybody?
I got a random name generator.
Great song.
Banger, dude. I literally wrote, it's a banger.
That's what you put after every song.
No, just that one, I think.
Wait, did you ask Blake why he gave you the songs ahead of time? Did you know they were supposed to be bangers?
I asked him
Oh,
specifically.
yeah,
Oh,
we
okay.
talked. Yeah, we
I
talked.
had an idea what I wanted to do for you.
I think you were just like, give Dave the bass ones.
Look, here's some cool stuff that'll hook him.
Yeah. No, it was between drum stuff or bangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the joke explained, which
Okay.
kind of sounded like it had sad lyrics, but
Well, that's Wilco. I
Yeah.
told you I'm a sad guy, Dave. We've gone over this in the chat.
I had Magnetized.
Magnetized, which I've got on my clips list.
Okay, cool.
The first thing I want to play, this is how this album starts. There's a song called EKG.
EKG. Perfect.
This is
Not perfect.
let's see how long Hagen can stand it.
Awesome. Where are
whoa,
we?
Spotify
Just,
just glitched.
Play
Just
it?
start at the top.
Awesome. Oh, I can do this. I'm good at this. I'm expecting like some like fucking like really annoying high pitched vocals to start screaming on you know.
We'll talk about a Deerhoof episode.
Can you turn my headphone mix down a little bit?
Yeah.
Everything's getting louder. Is that mine or Adam's?
No, I did change it for me.
There we go. Up a little bit. Up a little bit more. Okay, that's good.
That's the same spot.
No, it's not.
So yeah, this is how you start an album.
This is the beginning of the album.
You want to hook the listeners.
This is when you turn it into the label goes, okay, yeah.
Star Wars.
Hold on, it's turning into a lightsaber.
Oh, the play is
The play, that's what's happening here. Did
Oh,
you know
that's
that?
fun.
I did not.
Holy shit! Look at that.
Spotify has the play streaming as a lightsaber.
That's cool.
That is so
Meanwhile,
fucking cool.
Dave and I were both like, it's broken. This song
Yeah.
like, doesn't work on now playing.
What's the other one?
So the other one I've got is Magnetize. I've
Okay.
got the last or the first 10 seconds,
The first 10 seconds.
which is I think keyboard
Okay.
city.
And all of them are lightsabers. That's crazy.
Refrigerator drum, carried in the shadows, almost bone.
Nice.
Hard gates.
Yeah.
Waste my time.
Like, legitimately, the nerd in me is freaking out about this lightsaber thing. I think I have to put it on the fucking screen. Hold on.
Okay.
Give me just like a second, because that is the coolest thing.
Now I'm curious if every song does it.
So far, we're two
So,
out of 2 for 2.
Apparently, this is with every single thing on Spotify that has Star Wars in the name.
No
Okay.
What?
Fucking
So if you
way.
listen to Star Wars soundtracks, it does that.
It does this, but because this
If
album
if Moniker puts out a song called Star Wars, it'll do that.
no way, that is the coolest fucking thing.
There are
Hold
also
on, wait.
different lightsaber colors.
Well, that's what I was gonna check too. See if all these were fucking
You can
different.
click on it and it changes.
Oh, give me a second.
We're
Hold
getting
on,
sidetracked.
I gotta fix this. This is important. This is for the Star Wars peoples. I'm not gonna do this. Never mind. It's not Fun Fridays.
So
It'll take too long.
Yeah, come check us out on Fun Fridays where we'll do this
where
again.
I'm
You're
gonna
gonna play a
pull up the
lot of Star
lightsaber.
Wars stuff.
Yeah.
If you click on, that's
Oh!
Luke's lightsaber.
Oh yeah. See?
That's Vader's.
Wow, dude.
I don't know whose that is.
Is
that Balin's? No, it's not
Okay,
Balin's.
come on.
No.
All right, moving on.
Ray-
We're already doing a
Ray?
long ass deep dive.
Sorry. Foster D in the chat. Sky Blue Sky is a great album by Wilco. I think we've decided, yes, it is. We are very deep in our deep dive of Wilco, Foster. We are into Star Wars. Moving on, I think, right? Are we
we're moving on. We're gonna
Yes.
move into another great title for an album, which is actually a play on another album.
Yeah,
This is Schmilko.
Yeah.
This is a great name.
It's the Harry Nilsson
Nielsen
album.
Schmilson.
Yeah.
There's that show that is like a musical show called Schmigadoon. That's on like NBC or ABC or some shit.
Nope.
And that's what is it on? I don't know what is it on.
It was on Apple TV. That's
Oh,
why
was
nobody. That's why it didn't get renewed.
I thought it was okay. Well, okay.
It was really
Well,
good.
Anyway,
It's really good.
I love when Adam goes, nope.
well, that's there's a musical called Brigadoon. And they
okay.
called it.
And they did
Schmigadoon.
the second season was Chicago.
Oh, was it?
Chicago.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's
They
crazy.
had a bunch of them apparently, and nobody watched it. So Apple's like,
No,
no,
that's
we're
all right.
sorry. This is really well done, but
Oh, I didn't.
no,
I didn't think it was very good, but
it is entertaining. I don't like
yeah.
musicals enough. If I liked musicals more, I would probably
Sure.
also hate it.
yeah, okay, Schmilko.
So yeah, Schmilko. I should have written it in my notes a little more clearly. These Star Wars and Schmilko came out consecutively.
Yes,
One of them being a surprise.
so it was
Here's
like
an album.
so. Star Wars was 2015, Schmilko was 2016, and they both came from the same sessions that they did at the Loft, which is like their studio, right?
Which was
So-
with their first time going back to the Loft in a while, or was that Sky Blue Sky?
Sky Blue Skies at the Loft.
Yeah.
But this was the first time in a while they went back to it, right? But then later is when they do, I guess the next ones, and they go back and do like some live shit together. But this one is like they're back at the Loft. They do these sessions, and that makes the two albums, Star Wars and Schmilko. To like check and say, make sure I'm I misspelled it in one of my notes, and I'm like, I gotta make sure I'm saying this right.
Yeah. Again, just to say it, it's after. Oh my God, I'm forgetting his name right now.
Harry Nilsson?
Harry Nilsson's
Yeah.
album, Nielsen Schmilson.
It's great.
So, which just by titles,
It's great.
you know, I think the Summer Teeth is more of a Harry Nilsson sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Schmilko, not my favorite Wilco record. I'll say that.
Okay,
You're not wearing that shirt.
Not wearing that shirt. So
It felt a lot more. At least my song felt a lot more like chill and almost
Yeah.
like cinematic. It didn't feel like it was. I mean, not to say that it wasn't like a good like exploratory idea, but it was just like a different kind of route for them.
sure, a lot,
damn
a lot more laid back. What songs did I give everyone?
I got if I ever was a
I
child.
was a child.
I got Shrug and Destroy.
Common sense.
Common sense. All right. So I've got the first 30 seconds of Shrug and Destroy, which I wrote Revolver-esque. So I think
Oh.
it's Beatles, kind of
Yeah,
Beatles-y.
okay.
Shrug and Destroy.
And a great song title.
It is. Bye, lightsaber.
Someone for the past.
So this was the surprise record.
Yeah,
No.
But came out of the same.
came out of the same sessions.
Days come to
I haven't said this yet, but I love the bass player.
Yeah, he's
So good.
multitudes. I wonder who destroys when no one
Yeah.
is left. Rejoice.
everything's pretty contemplative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I wrote that it was all very full of intention. It felt like everything was going a very like specific direction. Even I think the ending of this one has a bit more, not necessarily like chaos, but just kind of like unorganized. But it felt like it was organized.
So at this point, Jeff Tweedy says, we're going to take a break.
Not long though.
Not terribly long, 3 years.
Okay. Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
You think about how they'd had an album
course.
like every year,
Every
basically.
year.
Yeah.
So records an album with his son, Tweedy, we've discussed.
His
Then
son's a drummer, right?
son plays drums, yeah.
Was this when this break must have been when he was on Parks and Rec?
Would have been through that stretch, 2017, I
Yeah.
think. And then they get back together in the Loft to record the next album, which is Ode to Joy,
Ode to Joy.
which is by and large the saddest sounding Wilco
Yeah.
album.
I definitely I see that. I think I like I had Everyone Hides, and it was I wrote that it was very chill again, but it was like almost like playful how chill it was. But I definitely got the sad vibe throughout.
All the lyrics are pretty sad. So
Yeah.
that was the closest thing I think this has to a banger. But
I honestly, I can't even remember what my song sounds like. I got Love Is Everywhere.
so
Before us, I don't recall if it was sad, but I assume it is.
so pretty
It seemed like at the end of my list, at least, it kind of slowed down a bit.
yeah.
That
So
this kind
pretty
of hit that point.
pretty chill,
And-
sad album.
And this album was at the point where so what they did was it was like Tweety and sorry, how do you say the fucking drummer's last name? Kochi,
Works for me.
whatever.
Kalachi.
Kalachi, Tweety and Kalachi, they had like done some sketches, like demo sketches of songs, and then the rest of the band came in and then fleshed the rest of it out. So it was the two of them who would like track some shit, and then everybody came in and then they finished it basically, which is a really cool idea, cool approach to a song, I think, to a record at least.
So I wrote 56 seconds into Everyone Hides as my clip from this one. There, for anybody interested in drum parts, Glenn Kochi does a run through of all of his parts on this album on YouTube.
Wow.
It's pretty fascinating to see his setup for this stuff.
Is it 56 seconds?
Yep.
So the other thing too that I noted about this one is that like the it's chill, but the playful thing that I mentioned kind of comes from like the lead guitar and like the percussion, drums, all of it. It turns the song into like nothing bangery, just a foot tapper and a head bobber. That's all I wrote. It doesn't go far enough to be like this is a fucking banger. It's like okay, yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
all you
Close
need.
as you're gonna get on this album.
yeah.
Yep.
Everyone hides.
Tap on your feet. Let's go.
Some of the time.
That's great.
The low
Production-wise,
piano.
Yeah, ton of cool piano parts. Jeff Tweedy's playing a ton of very small guitars.
Oh,
Tiny guitars.
Just of course, Nels is gonna do Nels things through all of it. Yeah,
I think right here,
If you're selling yourself.
I guess later in the song when that comes back in, it gets a little bit more of that energy behind
A
it.
little
Yeah.
more upbeat.
But
yeah.
it's still not like
full tilt.
it's not like dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
like, you know?
well, they bring up the energy with chimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A little more shaker and some chimes.
You know what'll really boost this song?
Yeah.
Chimes. What do you got? There you go. I feel boosted.
All right, we got energy. Let's come on. Let's finish this shit.
So this was the tour that I saw them on.
Nice.
Okay.
Do they play a lot of this, or was it
They play a pretty good mix. They do kind of focus on the new album at the time.
okay?
So
So it was a little
Still-
sad.
sad, but they definitely got extra noisy to make up for it.
Right. I feel like that would be a thing that in any live situation for them, no matter what they play, it's going to end up being a little noisy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you can't have those guys and not
Yeah.
get off the rails for a while.
Okay, and that leads us to the next one.
Yeah, this is a big one.
Cruel
This-
Country?
Jeff Tweedy says, "You know what? Maybe we were a country band this whole time."
Yeah. He just
Look
embraces
at what the
it.
pandemic did to me.
So, this is full on his tribute to American country music. That he
Yeah.
loves.
Yeah, I wrote.
So-
I wrote. Is this a return to form? Like, is that what this is supposed to be?
It is far more country than anything they've released.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly. I guess that's
I mean,
true. So
even their first album,
Sure.
right? Like it sounds
Yeah.
more like that.
Okay, wait. Did I see this right? There are 21 songs on this.
it's a
album.
double album.
It's a double album.
Double album.
But,
Yeah.
but released as a single.
Yeah, and it's a double album. And then this was also the other one where all 6 members were back in the loft recording live.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What a cool thing to do a country record again and have all 6 members return to do like a full live thing like that. That's so cool.
And it's very convincingly country.
Oh, yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to my song and I was like, oh man, it's, like I said, is this return to form? Then I read about it. I'm like, oh, is the whole album's country?
Yeah.
So I surely
had-
gave
I
you
had-
Falling Apart.
You
Many,
did.
many,
I
Many
got
Worlds
Falling
was the
Apart.
song I had, which is 8 minutes,
8 minutes.
which I did not expect.
That's the clip I have.
Yeah.
on my list. as
Yeah,
well.
I have Falling Apart.
You have Falling Apart.
I have it as well.
Really?
Yeah. I guess-
Aha.
oh, look at that. We have
It's a good
some
song.
It is. It's great.
So yeah, pull up Mini Worlds.
I should have pulled up the album because it's easier for me. Okay. Many worlds. Okay, cool. Where in the song?
I have This looks like I wrote 10 seconds. Let's see if that's correct.
At 10 seconds, you're like, when is this over? How long is this song?
It's
Yeah.
8 minutes.
My note to myself was post-rock. Just,
I love country music.
Secondary dominance, baby.
Nice. What do we do during secondary dominance? We drink when we hear minor fours.
Nothing.
Nothing.
You sound so sad about it.
I throw my key at you.
No.
It's the key, Jim.
It'll hurt.
cinematic.
Yeah.
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 That's for Adam.
Yeah. And this was on the like second half of mine where it started like slowing down a little bit.
Yeah.
Time to chill out.
This is great.
At the sky.
Just that no singing bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just no good.
God, he
Yeah.
sucks.
Terrible.
Holy shit.
Many worlds collide.
And people would like pay so much money to sound just like him.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But at the same time, he reminds me of Taylor Goldsmith from Dawes, where it's like,
Yeah.
he doesn't sound like he should be as good as he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sounds committed to it. for
Yeah. So much emotion, too.
sure. All right, and just to bring it up a little bit, give us a little bit of Falling Apart.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause it's a fun little tune.
It is.
Very country.
Very country.
Oh, right. There's so many songs in this album.
Yeah, you would think that last one was the last song, maybe.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Like, this is like Merle Haggard.
Now don't you fall apart.
Oh yeah.
While I'm
The slapback delay.
I wrote this is some of the best his vocals have sounded. Like I especially when he hits that high note on the Falling Apart, like it's perfect.
Yeah. What is that like warbly effect on the guitars at the very beginning? Maybe
That's
the whole
just
recording.
That's a baritone guitar with a whammy bar.
Oh, wow.
That's the Nels Cline part. This is a really showing off Pat Sansone
Yeah.
playing a lot of traditional.
Vocals great.
I love this song. He's basically like, you can't fall apart. I'm the only one that's allowed to fall apart.
So
We
good.
can, like, don't lose your mind while I'm losing mine.
And that is one. Those were 2 of 21 songs on this album.
Those were halfway through.
yeah.
And it's an hour and 17 minutes long.
Yeah. I mean, for 17
That's a lot
songs, that's a decent. That's not
Yeah.
a bad amount of time. You would think that 21 songs would end up being more than that.
For anyone concocting set lists, you'd be surprised how many songs you need to fill an hour.
Yeah. It's very true.
For a band who's not scared of 11-minute songs, there's a lot of 2:30.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Get
yeah,
in
yeah.
there and get out.
Yep. Which is good. I love that.
Country form, for
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
3 chords and the truth.
So,
Yep. Go on. Move to the next thing.
We don't need
second
to
time
let
I saw
Dave
them
do this.
was on that tour.
Okay.
And flew to Santa Fe just for the backdrop
Wow.
of the Santa Fe Opera House.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And incredible. Many Worlds was
That's another like side note about them. It seems like they play really cool venues.
yeah.
Also,
like, rather consistently.
not along with the venues, I was reading some stuff about like how they package their albums. That also seems very special. They
Oh,
seem
you
to
mentioned
put a lot.
they've been nominated for a bunch of Grammys for their packaging. I
Well,
think.
and like just the thought that obviously that Jeff Tweedy puts into the songs itself.
Yeah.
But it like more than just the songs, more than just the album, how to package it, it's like that's cool. That's super cool. So,
Cool
That-
packaging.
I will say that was
And they released their albums online before Radiohead did.
yeah.
Yeah.
We should be calling Radiohead the English Wilco.
English Wilco.
I feel like that's the conclusion.
I like it.
You
That's
gotta
the
go
conclusion.
tell that to Jackson. See
Yeah.
how he takes that.
Yeah.
He likes Wilco, so it's fine.
He does, but I think he likes Radiohead more.
Sure. Last we have,
So let's get as current as we can get.
yeah,
This is the new album Cousin,
right.
which in Wilco world is the first album not produced by Wilco.
Right. Okay.
So
Okay. So I have a quote from the producer. Her name is
Also hard to pronounce.
Kate LeBon.
Kate LeBon.
And I like so relevant to what we were talking about before we started, and like during like bunch of white guys talking about Wilco, very, whatever. She said there aren't a whole lot of white male rock groups that feel vibrant in any way to me. I don't know what they're singing about. I don't know what they're angry about. I don't know what they care about other than maintaining and protecting their status. And I don't want to be the way Wilco looks at itself. It felt really right to ask a woman to produce a record for us because it was an honest way to surrender some of those assumptions. That's that's why Jeff chose Kate LeBon to be the producer, which is incredibly self-aware.
Yeah.
So, and something interesting Kate LeBon did is, you guys like to record together. Stop it.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, I thought that was super interesting.
She worked with everybody individually
Yeah.
and built
interesting.
these songs.
Apparently, they would get together and do a couple, they get together in groups and then split off individually and then get into a different group and then split off again and yeah. Very cool. Now, I will say on my song, I had 10 Dead.
Yep.
And from what we listened to, I already know that what I wrote about this isn't true. But I felt like on this album, at least for this song, I was like, it feels like more harmonic exploration. Sure. I know that's not the case based on what I listened to. I know they've done plenty of that. But on this song in particular, I was like, wow, they're doing a lot more stuff. The melodic and harmonic stuff is feeling like it's really taking waves here versus kind of we're gonna sit and do our thing. We're gonna be noisy and shit, but we're not gonna write a chord progression with some weird ass shit in the middle while the melody is still flowing on top. Now I know that's not entirely true, but that's just how I felt about my song at least.
I mean, I felt that way about You Gave Me Pittsburgh, and I felt that way about that one. It was very, very lush with just so much stuff in it. Almost overwhelming.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
So what's interesting, 10 Dead, they played when I saw them in Dallas.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Tweedy has a Substack called Starship Casual. Mm-hmm. And he mentions the following Monday, see them Saturday. Said we played 10 Dead in Dallas. It's too heavy. We won't play it again.
No.
So
What
lyrically,
a fucking bummer.
And the song is a bummer. So
damn,
Wow.
that sucks.
as great as it is, he said, it doesn't feel good when we're done. So
Wow.
Yeah, fuck, that sucks. Well, it's a great song.
Did I give you a single? Did I give you Evicted?
Infinite Surprise.
Infinite Surprise. Okay.
Which I think, like Dave said, is also had a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was great. It
The-
works.
somebody
really
said
well.
the Kate LeBon secret is wiggly guitars. So that is definitely a theme through that album.
That's great.
So, and that brings us to current. I had here, if you would like to play 10 Dead.
Sure.
It is a bummer song to end on.
It's okay.
And we'll never play it again as he's
So-
ordained.
I think it's a great song.
It's the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning and I went back to bed. 10 dead, 10 dead. Now there are 10 dead. Turn on.
I love it so
radio.
much. It's so beautiful.
This is
Yeah.
what they said. No more, no more, no more than 10 dead.
What?
The recording stopped.
Oh, nice. Cool.
That's fun.
Stacking stones and strands of light. I feel
The bass tone's really cool.
Yeah. It was great live, too. Sad if they don't do it again.
Yeah, that's a bummer. So, it leads me to my takeaway questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Is Wilco a guitar band or a song band?
Song band. I'll vote song band.
I found that I could go either way on this, but I found that the guitars were so important and so good, and I was like, I could see. And I talked to some friends yesterday, and they were like, Jeff Tweedy's still my favorite guitar player.
Yep.
The guitars are so important that I could see this answer going either way. What do you guys think?
I feel like guitar band.
Guitar band,
Yeah.
okay.
Wilco's what you need it to be.
You've been in the Wilco game long enough that you're like, it's whatever you want.
It's not the hero needs, but the hero it deserves.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, Hagen.
Okay, and then is Wilco a jam band?
So this is a hotly debated question in the Wilco world.
Okay.
If jam bands were good, Wilco would be a jam band.
I think that's a fair take.
Okay, cool. I like
2
that.
hours and 15 minutes into the episode, and that's the hottest take.
That's so good. Okay.
No,
well,
that's a good take. That makes
yeah,
sense.
a good one.
Yeah. I felt like I could go either way on that, and it seems like I would say probably yes, they are a jam band, but yeah, I like that.
They're at least jam band adjacent.
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah.
They'll throw in Grateful Dead covers live.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
They know what they're doing.
Now, the final thing that I kind of have to say about this is like I really enjoyed my time with the playlist. I don't know if it's something that I can like honestly say I'd go like dive into more stuff because there's so much to dive into. But if I know it's specific, you made playlists specific to us. But if you could give any listener a place to start with Wilco, like here's like here's like this is the best place. Doesn't matter what you like. If you like, if you're interested in the Wilco world, where should someone start?
I think Yankee Hotel Foxtrot is the gateway.
Okay.
Because there's so much drama.
Okay.
You can hear it in the music, but
Yeah.
if you do any base level research,
Yeah.
that's what's coming up.
Gotcha. Okay.
I kind of feel like that makes sense. I listened to that after. So sorry.
My book, dude.
After the playlist,
That's on
and
display.
I was kind of thinking like, yeah, I'm in like on more. And I think if you listen to that album, you'll be like, yeah, this is for me, or you'll be like, no, it's not for me till I've turned 35.
It's poppy enough to hook you.
Yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
weird enough that you're going, what's happening?
Okay, great. Well then, I think it's time to talk about what we're listening to aside from Wilco. You guys got anything?
I do, surprisingly.
Excellent.
Faye Webster, you had mentioned that album. Undressed at the Symphony. Great. I listened to that first song and I was like, I'm totally in for this.
So fucking good,
I'm
dude.
not gonna stop. This is gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Amazing.
I need to listen to more things that Hagen recommends.
I frequently feel that way,
Yeah.
and I do,
Can
and
you
I
say
go,
that
he's
one
right.
more time?
So back in the edit, and it just loops over and over again.
I'm gonna put that on the fucking board.
I can't remember if I said this last week or the week before, but Norah Jones's record Visions, it's still
You hadn't said it was like a grower.
yeah, it's growing.
Yeah.
It's doing its thing.
Nice.
And I also went back and just remembered how great of a songwriter Paul Simon is, and been listening
yeah.
to Paul Simon's stuff.
That's great. I'll go. You can go last, Blake. Djesse Volume 4, Jacob Collier. It's been the thing that really took me. I have so many takes. I'm waiting for the time to really let him out.
Yeah.
I've got so much to say. Hopefully there will be a space, whether it be a fun Friday or we can do an episode about it or a bonus episode about Jacob Collier or something.
Patreon.
Yeah, I have so many opinions about this album, and the cliff notes are stop at track 12. But the other thing I'm listening to is it's Sorted by Cheekface. Cheekface is kind of like this like more like power pop like art punk kind of thing. They
From
pop-
England?
No, I don't think they're from England.
Oh,
I don't know though, but it doesn't sound like they're from England.
Yeah.
This album was released this year. It was on Fantano's list of like shit that he likes a lot this year so far. So I was like, cool, I'll check it out. Whenever he likes rock albums, I'm like, I'm so curious, like what So I checked it out, and the related artists were Jeff Rosenstock and Illuminati Hotties, and I'm like, I like that a lot.
This is for you.
And I asked Jackson if he liked it, and he was like, "This is all I've been listening to is this." But I don't think he's listened to this album yet. But it's great. If you listen to the first song, the fringe and the vocals kind of are a little bit weird, give it a second, let it kind of get to the hook, and it's just fun. It's just fun.
So that's what I'm going to be listening to next week.
Adam's always going to be a week behind.
Week behind. If I started watching Fun Fridays, I would be the same week.
Hey.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. All right, Blake.
All right. I've got tickets to see Deerhoof in a couple of weeks. I've been listening to their most recent album, Miracle Level.
Nice.
So noisy art rock from San Francisco. Another band that changes how they sound album to album. So
Cool. Very nice. Okay. Well, anybody got anything else? Or are we ready to get out of here?
that's all.
I think we have like four more albums to talk about.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Well, first I want to say thank you, Blake, for coming on and
Yes,
being
thank you.
our journey for Wilco here. This is like, I don't know. We haven't done an episode this long in a while. One, and I think two, it's a good thing that we waited for this to do a long episode.
We
and
haven't
really-
done this deep of a dive in a long time.
Well, and to be fair, we didn't really even, we listened to one song per album.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this is maybe the best deep dive in that way because we had the perfect like guide for where these are the songs for you and then
Exactly.
these are for Dave.
Yeah. So thank you so much for this. This is incredible. We very much appreciate your time. Is there anything that you want to like shout out? Anything you want to promote at all? Is there anything you want to say before I get out of here?
New band, band called Twig Eaters.
Okay.
Keep an eye out on social media.
Is that the Instagram? Is just Twig Eaters?
Twig Eaters.
Okay. Cool.
Can't really tell you much about it. We'll rehearse tomorrow and I'll know more.
Okay.
Secretive.
Cool. Do you want to talk about your pedal thing too?
Yeah, you can check out Margot,
Instagram.
Margot Electronics on Instagram.
Okay. Awesome. Margot Electronics. That's Blake's boutique pedals.
I build them and paint them and don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I have to give them away so my wife doesn't get mad that there's so many in the house.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for being here. It truly means the world. And happy birthday to Dave. One more time, everybody. Happy birthday to Dave.
35.
Congrats
made
on the Wilco
Welcome
birthday.
to
Yeah.
Wilco World. It's like
That sounds like a thing they would do as like a Disney World kind of thing.
Yeah,
for
so I was
Wilco
thinking,
fans.
yeah.
The website is Wilco World.
Well, and I do know. I do remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's great.
Cool.
It's very in line. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. If you made it to the end of this episode, then hopefully you are also a converted Wilco fan as well, like the rest of us are. I'm speaking for us. Thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, please follow or subscribe whatever podcast app you are using. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to the video, you watched the whole fucking 2.5 hours. Where the fuck aren't you subscribed? What's wrong with you? Like the fucking video, all that shit. Please, it helps out a lot. It's free. If you're on social media, DFTA Podcast on Instagram, Don't Be the Artist on TikTok. We also have our Patreon. A new episode's coming up this week. Check that out, and we'll have another new episode up next week that will also follow along with what our main episode is. So stick around for that. Stay tuned for that. That's a better way to say that.
There you go.
If you have any topic suggestions, if you want to say hi, anything like that, you can email us at feedback@don'tbetheartist.com. We do listen to you guys. We do take like if you have ideas, please tell us. I had a friend who listens to the show who was like, "Oh man, I want you to do these deep dives. I told you that a while ago." I'm like, "Well, tell me again, man. I'm gonna forget shit."
Yeah.
because it's good ideas.
But
So
better yet, you bring us a playlist. That saves a lot of time.
you
and
do
come
all
on the show.
work. So please, we'd love to hear from you. Feedback@don'tbetheartist.com, or you can DM those previously mentioned social media accounts. Like I said, DFTA Podcast on Instagram, Don't Feed the Artist on TikTok. We'd love to hear from you guys. Just anything. Just if you want to say hi, whatever. I got a comment on a YouTube short that I posted that said, "Not everyone needs a podcast." And I responded, "But we do."
Yeah.
With a little like cry face, like the little big eyes
love
emoji. Because we do, right? Come on, we're four white guys talking about Wilco. Fuck off. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you so much. I gotta pull up the thing so I can
You
transfer
did it
scenes. I
again.
did it again because I was like, I'm fucking done. I don't have to look at this anymore. Fucking idiot, dumbass. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you and
Fuck off! Get rid of town!
bye.